Welcome to your new wrestling obsession. It is Off the Mat. Thank you, everyone, so much who's liked, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever we go live with a brand new episode of Off the Mat. I hope you marks are ready to talk about some wrestling because we got lots of it for you tonight.
Oh yeah,
let's get into it.
It was a pretty good. You know what? Not for anything. I did. I caught the replay of the best parts of AEW there in Australia. Hey, I tell you one thing: the friggin' the Offspray, and this is what's his name? You wanted to come? What the hell's his name? Oh, geez, I'm drawing a blank.
Kenny Omega.
Oh, Kenny Omega. That was a good match. You know, the shit they were doing. Yeah, you know, I know wrestling is entertaining. You know, you do all these crazy acrobatics, storyline, but also if they can get by without a storyline and have matches like that, it could be a whole lot better because that was a damn good match, man. I was entertained with that, the back and forth and the crazy moves. I was hurting just watching.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about AEW in Australia, mate, once we get to my terrible Australian accent. Once we get to our review section, I want to say what up to the chat real quick. Left us a comment right away. Kevin says, really, WWE Women's Division frustrated? Face palm. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in our news segment.
Yep.
But to kick off the show tonight, a little opening topic. Don brought up AEW in Australia. Let's talk about it. Have you seen all the stuff going on with AEW in Australia and the posts from Buddy Matthews, who hurt his ankle as they decided to use a 16 by 16 ring instead of a 20 by 20, which is typical of WWE and TNA. I believe TNA also, but WWE, and I think usually in the States, AEW uses 18 by 18 or 20 by 20, but 16 by 16 ring that you just got from a local indie promotion or some dude's buddy in Australia because he didn't ship a ring.
Well, first things first. What I heard, he really messed up his ankle.
Yeah, he lashed out about it on Twitter.
Yeah,
and then I'm sure he probably got a slap on the hand by old Tony Khan himself and took it down. He basically called him a shit show, like amateur hour. And paraphrasing here, of course, not his exact words. Those are mine, not his. But paraphrasing what he said. But yeah, man, he said that he jumped down and there was a space in between the padding and the ring and twisted his ankle. So and you kind of see him after the match start limping off as he's leaving the arena.
Yeah, they showed they slowed him down. They showed they put the little circle around the foot and where the foot twisted. Ouch. I don't know, for a $1 billion company, for a $1 billion company, Tony Khan has a lot of money. He should be putting out all the stops, no matter what the circumstances, of making the rings bigger, making the accommodations for the wrestlers bigger. He could dish out the money to give more money to the wrestlers to try to avoid coming to WWE, but the safety. And then you get hurt. Then he wants to slap on a contract to make you stay longer if you're unhappy with the company.
Well, the way you get around that is just don't say you're going to WWE. Don't let it come out that you're looking to go to WWE. Don't say you're going to WWE. Just mind your business and keep your mouth shut, whatever you're going to do. And then Tony won't do that. But if you're coming out being very vocal about you and your brother leaving to go to WWE to the point where like all the dirt sheets are like, you're going to be here. You're going to be here. You're going to be here. Ray Phoenix. Maybe Tony won't do that, but it just shows that Tony is as petty as Vince was. No matter what he wants to say, Tony is just as petty as Vince.
The difference between Tony and Vince is that Vince had his storylines that he wanted certain storylines, and he changed things last minute. Tony wants the storylines, but like as a fanboy. Like he wants to put like the story that doesn't make any sense. Like you'll have a heel fighting a face, and the next day that heel is good again. That he's fighting, and he just wants to match up like, oh, this guy sounds good with this guy, or this girl sounds good with this guy. And he put them together. Vince, on the other hand, had to start, and Vince was a pain in the ass. And look, the thing with Vince was that last minute, like you're ready to go, you're all psyched about going into the ring. You got your mind is focused on your story, on what you have to do. Last minute,
Vince was like, I gotta drop a hot steamer, lay down.
Exactly. Either that or listen, you're not going on tonight. Change your plans. And you're sitting there prepared to go into battle with your mindset, everything, and then all of a sudden you're not going to fight that night because Vince. I want to do it this way. I want the janitor to come out and attack Trish Stratus and make it like who attacked Trish Stratus, but the janitor was me and type of shit. That's the type of shit that he thought of the story like the last minute. But Tony Khan, he does his thing with his stories, but
he's a billionaire playing with his live action,
figures,
life-sized action figures is essentially what AEW is.
Yep.
He's playing with his real life action figures, playing it out, probably matches that I picture Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure playing in his bathtub. That's what I think Tony Khan is. He's just in his little room, which happens to be a giant arena, playing with his live action figures. And that's what AEW is.
I'm going to be honest with you.
There's a reason the best thing in AEW right now is timeless Tony Storm.
That and there's a couple other little things in there, but I'm gonna tell you one thing about the storyline that they were gonna have, and all those rumors that were swirling around for Shane McMahon that he was gonna go to AEW and run stuff, this and that. That actually rumor sounded so much better than the whole plan they got. He would have came in, took over.
Maybe.
Tony Khan could have sat in the back. Tony Khan needs to get away. He needs to just go on the side and not be involved.
Though there's reports out there right now that came out within the last 12 hours that Shane McMahon wanted to run things in AEW. He wanted to have creative control in AEW, and Tony Khan pretty much ghosted him. Tony Khan just didn't go with it. So, I'm surprised. I mean, the Khans have more money than the McMahon, so there's no way that WWE is going to buy AEW. And let's be honest, AEW is good for the wrestling business. Look how bad WWE was before AEW came along. They may not look at them at competition, but let's be honest here. AEW being around and being an option is good for the pro wrestling. It makes everybody elevate their game.
Exactly.
So it would be nice. And as a wrestling fan, I'm hoping that eventually AEW will get back on track again because it's good for professional wrestling for AEW to exist. If they go under, then WWE is already partnering with TNA. Sadly, New Japan doesn't get as much love here other than with the hardcore professional wrestler who follows that indie stuff, or local promotions or GCW. Like a lot of that stuff's not on. I know New Japan was on TV late at night, but the AEW existing is good for the wrestling business. It makes WWE have to up their game. So much as I sit here and give them shit, I would love to see AEW rise above and get back on track. I would love to see Tony Khan get out of creative, let somebody else do creative, stop listening to these pro wrestlers, these aging pro wrestlers like Jericho or Adam Copeland, and just write good stories, man. Have good professional wrestling again.
Look, it was like back in the
for everyone.
90s. Remember the 90s when WCW started ruling and beating WWF? Yeah. And all of a sudden they turned around and got the Attitude Era and made the best friggin' era of professional wrestling that we could possibly see and enjoy. The wars were great. One night, each company was elevating the next. Every night there was an elevating in each thing. And that's why you want AEW to succeed, because the more AEW succeeds, the more WWE has to up its game.
You need AEW to succeed.
Good competition. Good competition always creates great product, right? Like you said, when WCW was in the picture, WWF, WWE, they had to up their game and to keep up, because it was a back and forth tennis match for a while.
So much so that Michael Cole was on Impulsive this week, and he said on Impulsive when he got hired into WWE, they were in the midst of getting their butts handed to him by WCW, so much so that they didn't know week from week if the company was going to fold. They were being told every week that we might be going out of business. We might be going out of business. So it just showed that great wrestling competition elevates the wrestling business. And that's what AEW did when they came out. Of course, now they go by, it's where the best professionals wrestle. Well, whatever. But it elevated WWE. It made WWE have to step their game up. And if you remember everything post the existence of AEW, it was flat. It was boring. It was the same matches week after week after week. I don't know how many times you had to watch the same four people wrestle every week. AEW comes, talent wants to leave to go in a new direction, and all of a sudden WWE is got new creative. Their storylines are going, and I guess it does help, yes, that Vince was forced to retire and then weaseled his way back in and then forced out again after the sell of TKO.
Yep.
But again, AEW being strong is they don't have to be competition, but just being strong is good for WWE.
It's good for It's good for wrestling all around. Look, let me tell you something. I think wrestling is at an all-time high now. Merchandise is selling. The excitement. There's so much going on in wrestling. Look, I'm telling you, it's a weird world we're living in now. If you think about it, professional wrestlers are now really in the mainstream of Hollywood. They're brushing shoulders with A-list stars from Hollywood. Wrestlers are like, oh, they just glorified stuntmen. No, they're picking up the game. You got more commercials now with wrestlers than ever before. You got more advertisements with wrestlers, and it's really big. You got kids. You got a lot of kids looking at wrestling now more than ever, and it's like big. Now you go into all countries now, making these big pay-per-views in all these countries, and it's becoming bigger than we ever thought it could be. And that's why if AEW succeeds, just imagine you have AEW keep going, and it gets better and better. WWE gets better and better, and you have TNA that's partnering with WWE that picks up its game. We're on the brink of really fantastic stuff, on a regular basis, and it's awesome.
AEW needs to get back though to that excitement that it had in the beginning when it first came about, where everyone was excited for it. They have to try and recapture that time where everyone was, I'm watching AEW and I love it. People are watching AEW and they're lukewarm to it now. It's not as hot as it used to be.
Did you ever watch the YouTube channel Being Elite with the young bucks?
Every once in a while. That
was hysterical. I was so into that. I was watching it when Cody Rhodes was possessed and all these people kept going WWE and saying matches, and it was funny, that Being Elite. And I was watching that, but now it tapered off. I'm like, really not. But that's the excitement that AEW was giving me when it first came on. I was like, oh, shit.
Speaking of that, and I want to hear from the chat, or if you're watching this in rewind, let me know in the comment section below. Do you think the pivotal turning point for the downturn of AEW was the minute Cody Rhodes left and went back to WWE?
Let us know.
I'm genuinely asking you guys too. Like, do you think that was kind of like that turning point moment that AEW started its downward trend is the minute Cody Rhodes left to go back to WWE?
I think
I'm going to say this. Go first.
I was going to say, I think when Cody left, a lot of the people in the locker room lost a little bit of faith in that, in what was going on, because Cody and the Bucks were the driving force for that company, and now all of a sudden he's gone, so you don't have that driving force from Cody anymore, and might have popped a few of their bubbles to have him leave.
I think yes, it was the the tears in the fabric were happening after Cody left. You know, Cody when Cody was on, when he was aboard and partnering with the Young Bucks and partnering with Tony Khan and doing that and doing the press conferences, you know, there was that big excitement. They bringing in, you know, having new companies from the ground up, building it up, and having these this young talent mixed with some veterans that would definitely bring it to another level. The Cody thing when he left, you know, there was a lot of frustration with Cody. The reason why he did leave, you know, he was supposed to be a huge part of creative. They took that away. Right. You know, there was a thing that they didn't speak, and then the other guys, you know, after Punk left, Punk was saying that the younger guys never wanted any type of advice. He would give advice, and like, yeah, you're old timer, man. I got my own way. So basically, the company that the people that were pulling in weren't respecting the older people. The people that were coming in were more like, you're old timers, man. We're the future of this stuff. We don't need any advice from you. But in WWE, where you always hear that they like the feedback, Punk. Let me tell you something. Punk has been the most positive person since he's been back with WWE. In the back, they said that he's a different person. After that whole AEW situation that happened, and he came back to WWE when hell froze over when he came back. Everybody's saying, "Oh, he's a cancer. He's this. He's that." I think he actually elevated the division even more because there's a lot of people who do like CM Punk. That what he brings to the table. Cody Rhodes is another. Cody Rhodes is definitely another talk about. But I think the tears in the fabric when he left, but when Punk left, that's when things really started to really crumble more than anything else.
Well, Cody, I think a lot of the Punk being on his best behavior in WWE too is the creative freedom. It's come out that backstage their promos are no longer written for them. They are given bullet points and sent out there to do their promo. So they have certain things they have to hit, of course, to promote their match for X, Y, and Z. But you know, there's no like complete script that they have to follow. And I think that's been really good for Punk. But Cody, when he was the EVP, was the guy that was like, hey, listen, I'm going to make this stipulation where I can't ever be AEW World Champion because I don't want to be the guy that just puts the championship on myself because I'm an executive and I can't. Very much like the Young Bucks have done. Very much like Kenny Omega did. Yep. You know, those guys are high up in the company over there, and they've been multi-time champions with AEW, where guys like, you know, Ricky Starks or really his name was just on my tongue in Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, and there's a lot of good talent over there that haven't really been able to shine because they were outshined or made to step aside by the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega, who wanted to put, or Jericho even. Like, you had Hangman Adam Page had the title for a little bit, and MGF had the title for a little bit. Unfortunately, he got injured, but there's just a lot of stuff over there that they could be doing better to build these stars that they're really not doing.
Well, you heard I guess listening today that there was they were talking about, you know, MJF, that him and Cody had a downfall with each other because he felt that Cody was taking away his shine as being a better wrestler. Because when they had the fight, Cody came out with the tattoo in his neck, and MJF felt that took away from the match, the tattoo, and he felt all kinds of ways. So there was a fallout too with the Cody and MJF. So a lot of people probably said, "Listen, this guy's full of himself. You know, we're not going to wrestle." And they probably were talking shit. They were probably talking shit in the locker room, talking in Tony Khan's ear, and they were probably the fact that they were disrespecting Cody too. And Cody probably said, "You know, I can't take this, man. You know, I try to put my input in this, and I'm not getting it. I'm getting too much pushback. Nobody wants to take advice. People feel like I'm taking away from them because I'm who I am. I want out. I want out because if you want to build a company, it can't grow with me here." And I think that's the reason why he left, because he probably felt that everybody was pushing back at him. wouldn't take the advice. So nobody was going ahead. So he said, listen, best for the company, let me leave and go someplace else. And, and look at Perry and freaking Jungle Boy.
Jack Perry.
Jack Perry. That, it's funny. I never knew that was friggin' Luke Perry's son when I first started watching things. I started looking at him. So he looks kind of like him, but I didn't put two and two until I actually found that out. Like, oh, shit. But, yeah, there's a lot of things swirling around in the locker room over there that he's a dick. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like everybody's got their own personal thing. And if you're a veteran wrestler, you don't want to put up with these young kids that they think they're full of themselves. And, you come to wrestle, you want to do a job, you want to do things. And then plus, at the end of the day, as a veteran, you don't want to keep taking fall after fall. That's best for the business. You want to have some kind of equal ground, because if a young dude is coming up and you want him to be a hot prospect, the worst thing you do is make him lose. That takes the steam away from the wrestler. So, give or take, there's a lot of different things why these veterans are walking away. Like, look, I don't know, maybe Chris Jericho one day might pop up again in WWE television down the road, because you can never say never. Because
at this point, I hope not.
I hope not either.
Jericho just needs to retire and be done. I love Jericho, but the stuff he's been doing in AEW the last year is kind of subpar to the Jericho I grew up watching.
He gained weight. He's in his 50s. He's actually, who he reminds me of? It might be a freaking the lead singer, the freaking goddamn Motley Crue, freaking Vince Neil. Vince Neil got fat, all these things, and the way he was when he was on the road, Motley Crue. But look.
Oh yeah. You ever hear sing? You can't understand what he says anymore.
No, dude. The whole fact is, when he came up, all the people said that he was actually that the women loved him because of the way he can't sing for shit. But anyway, so that's what Jericho's turning out to be. He's not the wrestler that he was, because if you watch some of his matches, it's terrible. He is terrible.
His matches aside, his promo last night was horrible. It was they're coming in and he's just like dead stare at the right straight in through the camera, like until someone said something. It was horrible. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's another thing. The promos over there kind of they're not that good. The promos over there. I think the best mic work over there was Ricky Starks. That's now Ricky Saints. That's back with us. MJF is pretty good with the mic.
Yeah, I think he's very good with the mic.
Freaking Tony Storm. Tony Storm with her thing that's going on. Freaking the Thomas Tony Storm. She's good in the mic. Mercedes Monet.
Haven't heard her speak once.
You need to let her less time on the mic.
Yeah,
but
that's why I haven't heard it.
Hey, look, I can tell you this: AEW will definitely give a chance to some of the wrestlers that don't get spotlight, don't get a chance. That's the best move for them, because we all know WWE's way of doing things too. They push a lot of wrestlers sit down and don't worry, you'll get your time, but then you waste all that time, and then before you know it, their contract's up, and you either sign them, let them go. But then the best thing is, you let them like freaking Zack Ryder, freaking
Matt Cardona.
He freaking left, came back. He was walking around the whole indie circuit. He's become the freaking indie god. So sometimes away from the big high profile companies actually benefit the wrestler itself too.
All right. We talked more about AEW than I think we've talked about on all of our episodes.
I know, right?
To start the show, and that's great. But I think we're warmed up. What do you boys say we get into a little bit of wrestling news for the week?
Let's do it.
Breaking news! We got a clash! Wrestling ring about to blast in the arena when legends rise. Feeling the heat, Nick no surprise. Slam this story, coming your way.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, I'm talking to you, Sticks. Heyo. Gonna get into a little wrestling news, and of course, right as I kick that off, my slideshow goes down. So we're back up.
Hey, Sticks is funny. Every time you go off the thing, he still talks. Like he gets.
Yeah, I know. And then he's muted like
No.
6 minutes after. But kicking us off this week, Shawn Michaels reportedly says he has 1 or 2 more matches left in him. During a Q&A that at the recent For the Love of Wrestling convention, JDC Fandango in WWE shared his dream match in NXT, revealing that Shawn Michaels told him just last week that he has 1 or 2 matches left in him. JDC, who was inspired by Michaels to pursue wrestling, expressed that while it's unlikely to happen, facing Michaels would be his ultimate dream match. Despite Michaels' retirement and his role overseeing NXT, he has hinted at the possibility of returning to the ring, potentially, perhaps WrestleMania 41.
Oh boy, I got mixed feelings about this. I love Shawn Michaels. I think he is the showstopper, always will be. I think he should just sit back and enjoy the NXT days of being the other one that's running the show over there. You know, you can have him in fighting wise. You can have him in the segments with other guys like kicking Ron Breaker, doing some things. People, I don't see him wrestling anymore. I can't because he's 57? How old is he?
I think
I can pull it up though.
All right, because I'm 55.
The power of the internet. We'll find out. Go ahead, Dom. Keep going.
Like I'm 55, and I can barely figure walk him downstairs at work doing the. He's got. All right, he might be conditioned, but you know what? I understand the love of the game and play. You know, and doing what you can.
He's 59. 59.
So 59 years old. You know, closing on 60. And, you know, like I said, look at Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is fucking 55 years old, 56. He's fucking older than and these guys are still doing it. But you see the way Shawn Michaels is holding himself, the way he walks, and the way he think he can handle fighting somebody. I know.
One week he had a limp.
He has a limp.
One week, yeah, he had a limp 1 week. I don't remember what week, but
yeah.
So I hate to say that his time is up because I would love to see him get into one more something, whether it's a full blown match or not. But I don't know.
I'm trying to find a good.
That's good. That's good.
I'll leave it there. I was trying to find the one that puts us all underneath it, but whatever. I'll just flop around it.
Well, we'll try it again next slide. But yeah, I think you know what? Yeah. One more match, maybe if you want to do something just to like go off into the sunset. What they could do is have the retiring wrestling show. You can have freaking Cena, Goldberg, him, and a couple of the wrestlers who retired. Do the last match. Last match, a one night only. Last match. You have 5 matches. Guys are all going to retire at the end. Do something like that.
I think Shawn deserves 1 or 2 more matches, especially with all the time he lost during his back injury.
Yeah.
If he feels like he's good enough to go 1 or 2 more matches, I'm for it. We could have a callback and have him go against KO at Mania. And call back to when KO tried to hit him with the package pile driver with his contract signing with Cody Rhodes. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with Shawn Michaels, you know, really facing anybody at WrestleMania in a retire match he wants. He hasn't really had that retirement match.
Yeah.
What was his last match? Was his last match the tag team match with him and Hunter in Saudi?
I think so. I think. Before
I couldn't.
Before,
I think there was one more after that. But.
Before Triple H's heart attack, heart issue. You know. I don't know. You know what? Listen. I know I said harsh things that
that was his last match. Was at Crown Jewel in 2018.
2018. You know what? And then he went to the home pandemic. You know what? Maybe one more match.
10 years ago.
Not 2. One more match on the grandest stage of all, WrestleMania. You have him as a one of the other fights. You have him in there to go out. Like you could have the fight like they like Sting and Flair had before WCW was bought by WWE, or you could have the match when Shawn Michaels fought Flair, and he goes, "I love you," kicked him in the face. You can have some kind of a match like that, you know. But see, now that we picked the person that you want to fight, see, Shawn Michaels versus CM Punk.
I think Shawn Michaels versus CM Punk would be a great match, but I also think Shawn Michaels versus Ricky Starks. I'm not calling him Ricky Saints. Not doing it.
Okay.
Not doing it. Ricky Starks. I can't call him Ricky Saints. We'll get into it in our NXT review, but Shawn Michaels versus Ricky Starks in NXT would be great for a last match at Stand and Deliver.
So you would want a rookie type of young dude fight him for his last match.
I want someone who's to his caliber of stardom in his heyday that can pull the old HBK out of him, that can pull whatever's left in him. Because I think all the time he lost and everything that HBK, minus the Montreal screw job, everything HBK gave to the business, he's got to have that one opponent that can pull that old showstopper, old heartbreak kid out of him for one more match, one more good quality match where he can walk away and say, my tank is empty. I'm fulfilled. What's done is done. I'm ready to go. Just like Triple H kind of has. You know, he had his heart attack, and yes, he can't wrestle anymore, but he's kind of said, I've had that last match. I've emptied the tank. I'm at peace. And it's kind of, to me, these comments and Shawn saying that kind of says, like, I'm not at peace yet. I may have retired, but I'm not officially at peace. I need to find that. I deserve this. Give me that one last ride. And I think maybe the likes of an AJ Styles. Ricky Starks. CM Punk, anybody, most of, anyone in NXT. But I think you got to get him a caliber of a star like that's going to potentially be that he was, or
how about someone like Carmelo Hayes? To get him back on.
No, I don't think Carmelo Hayes cuts it, man.
No.
The whole point of a retirement match is to put that person over. So it's got to be somebody that Shawn's going to give that nod to, right? He's got to give that nod of approval to go over. And I think that's kind of why we haven't seen a Goldberg retirement match yet. They kind of set it up with Gunther, but I wonder if Goldberg maybe came back and said, I don't want to give him my nod of approval. It's got to be somebody that he's willing to put over. So that's why I'm saying, like, an up-and-coming talent like a Ricky Starks for Shawn Michaels, or maybe someone who's also, in the ring and still doing it like an AJ, but can still do it at a high level like an AJ Styles. Yeah, anything like that. Not that AJ Styles really needs that rub from Michaels anymore, especially since Styles is coming to the end of his career. But I just think if the man wants one more match, give him one more match, let him empty that tank, and let him go out into the sunset fulfilled and feel like he's going out on his terms.
Let me throw a name at you. Now he's out injured right now, and maybe when he gets back. What about JD
McDonough?
McDonough.
Didn't Shawn Michaels train McDonough? I mean, that would work if McDonough was given a good storyline once they break up the Judgment Day.
Well, I tell you this, the fact is that when he went out, people thought he was awesome in that fight. So he's got the fans backing him now. So I guess when he comes back, he's going to have a lot more fan follow. More respect. We'll see.
I mean, you can make that part of a storyline where they push him into having a match with Michaels. He beats Michaels, and they think he's going to come back to Judgment Day, and he says, "Nope, I'm going out on my own."
Which, guys, we all know as wrestling fans how fickle wrestling fans could be, where we'll cheer you one night and boo your ass out of the building the next.
Exactly.
So, just because they cheered JD that night, when he comes back, it could be a different story.
Hey, what about Shawn Michaels fighting Penta?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think Penta needs that rub. It's kind of like building. You want to use that retirement match to kind of build that next star. Like maybe the likes of like an Ethan Page, or maybe the likes of like Joe Hendry, or I still Ricky Starks.
Yeah. Now, you know what? You're right. It's just you need somebody like that caliber to
or a Kevin Owens, because I think the likes of a Kevin Owens could amplify Shawn and make Shawn, maybe Kevin can take bumps that Shawn can't take anymore, and he'll still pull the best out of him. Because let's face it, Kevin Owens is able to pull the best out of anybody.
Yep.
Like, he can kind of carry and pull the best out of anyone. I mean, just look at his impromptu match with Stone Cold at WrestleMania. What was it, last year or the year before? So I think Kevin Owens could do it, and it would make sense to the story, given that Kevin was going to hit him with a package pile driver and Shawn super kicked him. But who knows? I just think let the man have one or two more matches. Let him empty that tank and let him go off into the sunset.
Yeah. Agreed.
Any final thoughts on Shawn Michaels?
No, man. It's the showstopper. One more time.
I think whatever they do, it'll be he'll be the one that pushes it more than anybody. So it'll be good on his terms. He'll be fine with it, and it'll go over good.
Well said, Sticks. Our next story: Ricky Starks gets a new name after signing his NXT contract. Ricky Starks is officially in WWE now after signing his NXT contract on this week's episode, and it was finally revealed that he will indeed be going under a new name. After going out of his way to avoid referring to him by his name in any fashion over the past week, not even just by Ricky, the reveal happened at the very tail end of the contract signing segment. At first, he was interrupted by Ethan Page, who was then attacked by Javon Evans. Then it was Wes Lee who came out looking for a fight, which has been booked for next week's episode. Finally, after all was settled and done, Starks had put pen to paper, and it was shown that the contract read Ricky Saints, which will be his ring name going forward in WWE.
Well, I know you don't like that. It's Ricky Starks is his name, definitely. But I told you that the reason why he did it, lives in New Orleans. He's a Saints fan.
I think that's an easy out.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of wonder if it was part of the stipulation for Tony Khan to let him go. If it was, look, you built your stardom here as Ricky Starks. You became a giant star here as Ricky Starks. Because Ricky Starks is his real name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was, you can go, we'll let you go. You can go sign with WWE, but you can't use the name Ricky Starks. Or it's because, I wonder if it's because, he had such that the name Ricky Starks in the professional wrestling business now is surrounded by such, a black cloud with the events of the last year, that he needed a fresh start, and that Ricky Saints is that fresh start. And he said in Busted Open, he said that, Ricky Saints is as close to Ricky Starks as you're going to get, but it just, right now, it doesn't roll off the tongue. And I know we as wrestling fans and we as people in general like to go to the negative right away. That's always what it's. I know I do. Like, the first thing when I hear something new, it's always my first thought is a negative one. Yeah. And then I try to reverse engineer to a positive. And do I think in a couple months, the name, like, we've had other people, like, Seth Rollins was not Seth Rollins until he got to WWE. He was Tyler Black. Yep. You had all these what's her name? Asuka wasn't Asuka before she came to WWE. Io Sky was Io Shirai.
Yep.
Gunther was Walter. Like, it's, I think in a couple of weeks,
better than that.
The name, Ricky Saints will grow on me and the rest of us. I know I just said I'm never going to call him Ricky Saints, and right now it just feels very foreign and unnatural. He's Ricky Starks. I know him as Ricky Starks. I knew him in the Indies as Ricky Starks. I knew him in AEW as Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is the name when the crowd's chanting his name, and now you want everyone to pivot to calling him Ricky Saints.
How about Ricky S?
Yeah, I'm just, they could have called him Richard Starks. But
Mr. Starks, like Tony. I was thinking, just use like Ricky Nola or something like that if you want to make a connection to where he's from.
Yeah,
then,
and I just think it happened so quick, and I don't know if Tony Khan, like I said, Tony Khan said, you can go over there, but you can't use Ricky Starks. That's part of our agreement. Or if he just wanted a fresh start because there's such a black cloud around Ricky Starks after everything that's gone on with AEW in the last year and being sidelined and in the indies, that he just wanted a fresh start. And, he just went with Ricky Saints.
Well, also, you got to look at the fact that it could be a tit for tat. WWE signed this thing to take away Edge's name, and Edge is Cope. Now, going into the thing, maybe that was that, and kind of like.
Well, I think it's different when they trademark a name like Edge. I think Ricky Starks held the trademark to his own name, but to me, like I posted on social media, I posted on WWE's Facebook page. I said, for the love of God, WWE, please change Ricky Starks' name back. And I was met with a lot of, there's got to be a reason this happened. There's got to be a reason this happened. There's a reason that
sure
he's Ricky Saints and not Ricky Starks. Maybe it's because of Zoe Starks and they don't want to have somebody named the same thing. And then I had one that made me laugh where the woman just like, I don't know, I'll say the woman obliterated me. She absolutely obliterated me. Not really, but she was just like, oh, well, maybe there's a reason he changed his name from Ricky Starks to Ricky Saints. So why don't you shut the hell up? I'm like, ooh, sick burn. You got me. You got me right in my feels, woman. But
who is this?
Huh?
Who is this?
Just some random on Facebook, on WWE's Facebook page.
Oh, really?
And it's just like, all right, cool. Shut the hell up for voicing my opinion. And I guess that's what the power of the internet gave us, is gave everybody an opinion, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And right now, I just don't like the name, but I'm sure it'll grow on me, just like other professional wrestlers. But I think it's different with a trademark on a character that WWE gave you versus you're using your real name. Because I'm like, and people are like, well, there's got to be a reason. Okay, then why wasn't there a reason that AJ Styles can keep using AJ Styles? Why is Cody Rhodes still able to use Cody Rhodes, even though he had a tough fight to use that name? Why is, Jordan Grace still Jordan Grace? There's, and the list goes on and on, but I don't know. I get it.
Has to do, definitely with Tony Khan and probably with him to get a fresh start. I can see basically all of that just to come clean and like it's like a starting over point. That's more likely of the thing. And plus also Tony Khan probably said, listen, I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, you have to bargain. You have to bargain to get out of there, because if you don't bargain, he's gonna fucking keep putting money in your contract so you can't freaking go. And you're gonna waste time just sitting there. You lose money. You're not gonna wrestle. So you know what? Take the Starks name. I don't care. I'll come up with another name, and boom, I'm out.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that doesn't say that WWE can't change his name to Ricky Starks once he hits the main roster, because they've changed names before.
Yeah, they did.
So,
right.
Could be. No.
I didn't mean to cut you off, though, Sticks. What were you gonna say?
No, I did forget what I was saying. I forgot
That's
what I
all
was
right. Your
saying.
internet would have prevented you from saying it anyways.
Probably. I do know that, like you were talking about, like and them owning the name, and that only lasts as long as they keep up the trademark. So
yeah.
At some point, because we've seen it in the past where guys WWE has forgotten to re-up their trademark. Guys have gone in and taken that name right back.
Well, because you notice that.
Damn internet.
You notice that Edge still goes by the Rated R Superstar, and he made the choice, I think, to go by the Rated R Superstar Adam Copeland, and then he made the choice to shorten it to just Cope.
That's so stupid. Cope.
It is very stupid, but regardless, he made that choice.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts on Ricky Starks becoming Ricky Saints before we move on?
Well, you know what? let's put it this way. We got a talented guy back who's over with the fans in AEW, and they like him here now. He's over with the fans. He's going to be a great addition to the WWE brand when he does come up, and the roster when he does come up. But NXT just got a whole lot better now. The men's division in NXT. You know, because we're always talking about that the women's division is freaking unbelievable who they have women-wise. You know, now you're starting to get some men to build up the roster there to at least have a chance of having a decent roster on NXT, the men's division.
Right. And I remembered what I was gonna say. You make concessions when you're doing your deals, like Dom says, and sometimes if you don't, he might have been facing. You may face that 90-day no compete clause.
Yep.
Sticks, your internet does not want you to get your point across.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No,
you're fine.
It's cracking.
Yeah, you're just crackling a lot.
Yeah, I'm probably my finger. He was facing a 90-day no compete clause. So that's probably one of the concessions he had to make.
Potentially. Well, yeah, because I think his deal was supposed to be up, and then they picked up his option. But yeah, I think, I mean, it sounds legit. It could potentially be it. But let us know in the comment section below. It goes a long way to help with the algorithm and show YouTube that you love professional wrestling content like this. Let us know what you think of Ricky Starks' new name of Ricky Saints. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? Let's start a conversation, shall we? And as we move on to AEW announces location for Double or Nothing 2025, and it's right in my backyard. The location for AEW Double or Nothing 2025 has been revealed. AEW has announced that this year's Double or Nothing pay-per-view event will be held on May 25th at Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, which is literally like 5 minutes from me. AEW President Tony Khan said that we put on the best pay-per-view events in the wrestling business. The fans in the Phoenix area have been so incredible for AEW. We've done several shows around Phoenix, and we've had great support from the fans. I had said after an amazing AEW event in Phoenix, it was past that we would bring these great fans a pay-per-view event because they deserve it. We have the best roster of wrestlers in the world. AEW Double or Nothing was held mainly in Las Vegas since the promotion was founded in 2019. But now we're coming to the desert. Tickets for pre-sale go on sale tomorrow, Friday the 21st, and then for the general public on the 24th, Monday the 24th. I will be trying to get tickets to Double or Nothing for sure.
Cool. You know what?
Yeah.
Hey, look, Vegas, another thing too, it's kind of crazy that they had it in Vegas for so long. I wouldn't be surprised that they left Vegas knowing that WrestleMania is in Vegas this year, is coming up, that
That's
event. True. So basically you have two big events in the couple of months from each other because of April. When's WrestleMania? April. What is April? Is it going to be like the beginning of April this year, like the 5th to the?
I think it's like the second weekend of April.
Because WrestleMania 41 is April 19th and 20th, if I'm recalling correctly.
So April 19th, 20th. You think about it. You throw this event there, even though it's still a month ahead of when this event's going to be. Who the hell wants to go see AEW after seeing WrestleMania?
I do, because AEW tickets are $20. WrestleMania tickets. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about that? I forgot to throw it in the news. I'm sorry. We can use it for this segment right here. WWE tickets are astronomical for WrestleMania.
Yep.
Astronomical.
See, and it tells you that the pinnacle of wrestling is up there. Ticket sales, you can goddamn put a down payment on a fucking house. You could put a freaking down payment on a brand new car, take a trip, possibly halfway around the world. It's like $29,000 for a 2-night stay in Vegas if you want to go the bougie way. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, right now 2-night passes for Allegiant Stadium for WrestleMania are $1,100 for nosebleeds. And if you want to go down ringside, are on the floor, you're looking about $3 to $5 grand per ticket.
That is absurd.
And last year, I was looking at tickets for Philadelphia. It was $900 for the nosebleeds.
What's up, Kyle? Yeah. And that's just the 2 nights of WrestleMania. That's not including Raw, SmackDown,
and NXT.
NXT tickets aren't as bad for stand and deliver. No. They're pretty reasonable, but AEW they were just here last night for Dynamite, and their tickets were nosebleeds were starting at $20. So
what's going on? Hey, listen, you see,
ain't nobody.
The ticket prices, that's another thing too. With all good things, the price is going to shoot up. Look at the sporting events. You know, you can't even take your family to go see a sporting event. Baseball, hockey, basketball, football. The prices are outrageous. You know, and that sucks because it takes you out of the equation. You know, you can't enjoy going to these things because, and now, like I said, wrestling is becoming bigger than ever before. And of course, you're going to have all these celebrities. Yo, I'm at WrestleMania. I'm at Royal Rumble. I'm at Survivor Series. All these big events that us, as the regular wrestling fan, can't even do that anymore. You know, if you want to go to a wrestling event, you need to freaking have at least 10 grand in your pocket.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. Tomorrow night, Friday Night SmackDown, the return of the final boss, The Rock. Tomorrow night, on Friday Night SmackDown, The Rock returns. Okay. Hopefully, we're going to see if he's potentially going to set up his WrestleMania 41 match.
Or he's going to set up the match between Jacob Fatu and Solo, because the main event tomorrow night is the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes. It's you got a 3-man tag team, 6-man tag team. That's going to be tomorrow night, and that ends the thing. So if the final boss does come out, is it for the Bloodline or it comes out for his match? Because is the final boss going to be the final boss again? That's the thing.
Well, he doesn't come out to everybody. Hey, good job, good job, good job.
The Rock made a social media post along with WWE, says bold and disruptive, unpredictable and dangerous.
Final boss coming back.
Final boss returns live on SmackDown.
Now let's see how long he can do his thing, because remember, he's doing the reshoots for his movie Moana. He's doing that. But also, you see The Rock he's the leading man in the new Martin Scorsese movie. It's coming out that he's a mob boss in Hawaii in the 60s and 70s alongside Leonardo DiCaprio and Emily Blunt. So he's got that movie might be coming. So he's going to have to make these appearances quick because he's going to be a busy man.
Triple H just tweeted, strap in. When the final boss shows up at this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant.
So that means Cody Rhodes' fight with CM Punk with CM Punk ain't going to happen because they're going to change it.
We'll talk about that here in a minute.
We'll talk about that. That's going to be crazy. But Double or Nothing, that's good for Arizona, but it also there was a reason why they went to Arizona instead of in Vegas, because WrestleMania is going to be in Vegas. So the stigma of WrestleMania is still going to be there. So move a little bit.
And the tag team match you're referring to tomorrow night is Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, Damian Priest, and Cody Rhodes.
Okay, there you go. So
all right.
I couldn't think of Damian Priest and freaking Braun Strowman. Freaking drew a blank on that because I forgot that they were involved with that whole thing too.
Moving on. Fitting that we just had that breaking news about the final boss coming back to SmackDown tomorrow night and potential WrestleMania. We have some rumor about WrestleMania plans, chamber favorite, and more. WWE is gearing up towards a match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania 41, according to WrestleVotes on a recent Backstage Pass Q&A podcast. I think we all kind of knew that was coming and where they were leading, especially after last Friday night on SmackDown. On that same show, WrestleVotes said they don't think Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio is happening at WrestleMania. Instead, they've heard potentially AJ Styles for a singles match with Balor.
That'd be great.
Not Braun Breaker versus Styles, which they kind of alluded to on Raw on Monday when Breaker tried to spear Styles. Styles moved, and Dominic Mysterio got hit instead.
I actually think the AJ Styles and Finn Balor match would be great. They never fought.
Yeah, well, in
for that.
they were in the Bullet Club together and
the last time they came face to face when NXT, when Finn Balor went back down to NXT, they had the little thing when they were in NXT. So that'd be a good match. I like to see first time matches, if that happens. But Ron Breaker, his championship matches are far few in between. Like, who the hell can really go toe to toe with him? That's going to be a good fit. You want to put someone in there that needs to that belt to complete their GrandSlam story, because like certain people like John Cena has never won that, right? The belt. He's missing a belt from the GrandSlam. He's still missing one of the belts.
I don't think he is. I think John Cena is a GrandSlam champion, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know. I think he's still missing a belt. I think. I could be wrong. Sheamus needs the belt. AJ Styles.
He's the Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, he's not a Grand Slam champion. To become a Grand Slam champion, wrestlers must win the WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, United States Championship, Tag Team Championship, and Intercontinental Championship. Cena has won the first 4, but not the Intercontinental Championship. So there's another one. Why don't they have him do that before he retires and become a Grand Slam champion?
There you go. That's another thing too. So that could be a possibility. Maybe they're making some changes to that too. Hey, look, I know they want to give the championship belt, to have him break the record of Ric Flair. And then you got Randy Orton in the wings that probably is going to be coming back pretty soon. He's another one that's coming back. And look, and people are saying, why don't Charlotte win the belt to break her father's record? Have Charlotte break her father's record for all the championships he won. So there's some matches that they could do. Like,
it doesn't count if it's in the women's division. I'm sorry, it does not count.
But they'll try to make it count.
They can have Charlotte win 16 and hold the same record as her father until somebody else comes along and breaks it. But I wouldn't count it as breaking Ric Flair's record if she gets 16 or 17 titles. It just doesn't.
But I tell you this, look, there's a lot of ways things can go. Look, Judgment Day is finished after this. I think after WrestleMania, there is no more Judgment Day. Unless they keep hinting at getting a new member. And it could be AJ Styles, it could be Malachi Black if he does show up.
Nah, I don't think it's going to be AJ.
Well, it kind of, it'd be kind of crazy if it is, because remember, he had purple and black on. He was kind of like hinting at it, like when Dominic came out. So I can see, because he was one of the first people they attacked and went after back in the day. So I kind of, it could be some story to that. Make AJ Styles one more or less as the leader of Judgment Day before it does definitely dismantle.
WrestleVotes also cautioned that WWE WrestleMania undercard is still being worked on, and that a lot of stuff is still going on there. John Cena and Bianca Belair are currently favorites to win this month's Elimination Chamber match, or I should say next month's Elimination Chamber match, according to online sports books like BetOnline.
Hey, listen, you know what I like to see? I would like to see the Elimination Chamber. Roman Reigns gets CM Punk and Seth Rollins freaking eliminated.
There's some interesting news flying around there that I didn't put in the news section because I was not able to verify the source, and it's not a credible source, but there are sources out there that are saying that Roman Reigns might not even make it to WrestleMania. Roman Reigns might not be at WrestleMania this year. So I think it's safe to say I think he will be. I would be shocked if he wasn't, but don't be surprised if we don't get a Roman Reigns plan for WrestleMania based on these reports that are floating around out there.
Let me ask you a question now. You know, Roman Reigns was advertised as being on Raw, you know, for the Netflix deal. And Roman Reigns has been on 2 Netflix shows.
Yes.
Already?
Yep.
All right, 2. So it's been January, so we're going on March. 2 appearances out of all these the episodes. What is it? Is it the fact that he can wrestle once and then he has to take his pills because he has leukemia and that he can't wrestle on a stint the way he used to wrestle? Why is he constantly off the shows and can't make an appearance here and there just to go on the mic to show up? You know, is there something that they're telling us? Is there something that, you know, is he really that point where the leukemia is really that bad that he can't fight a whole lot and wrestle a whole lot, you know, in a handful of times? It's once and then he's gone for like 2 or 3 months. It makes no sense.
I think they definitely cut back his matches for that reason. But because he said he said in interviews like he wished he could go more. He told O'Shea Jackson Jr. that he wished he could go more, but because of his deal, he can't. He misses being in the locker room with the guys and all that stuff. But I think that has a lot to do with it. Is that with his leukemia and it coming back and him having to take pills for the rest of his life for it and treatment and still receiving active treatment, because it came out during his special at WrestleMania last year that he's still receiving active treatment for it. So I'm sure that probably has a lot to do with it. Like if he's on chemo, I don't know how that works, but if he's on chemo like once a month or something, and he has to get that treatment and it really messes him up to where he can't wrestle and he's got to take a few weeks off, that makes sense. But he's also a draw, and he's a prize fighter essentially. He's a big money draw. So they draw sales when Roman Reigns is going to show up. And, you know, they want to advertise that he's going to be there to get people there and sell tickets. And I don't know. I don't think there's a chance that Roman Reigns misses WrestleMania 41. And that's why I didn't put that news report in here. Because if it came out from like a WrestleVotes or a Sean Ross Sapp or, you know, something like that, a more credible source, we would talk about it more. But it is floating around out there that there could potentially be a WrestleMania without Roman Reigns, even though I don't foresee that happening.
I don't see that happening, but you know what? Hey, anything's possible. Things could happen. Maybe The Rock is coming out to talk about that. I don't know. He should do that on Raw because he is a part of. But you know what? Make a long story short. We'll see what happens. You know, WrestleMania is still a couple of weeks is weeks away. You know, so we can definitely see anything can happen in the next month or so.
It's just so weird, man. We normally have this buildup even before Elimination Chamber. Like after Royal Rumble, we're on the road to WrestleMania. We know what's going on. We know 2 matches right now for Mania: Jey Uso versus Gunther and Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton. It just feels unusual.
I think the Elimination Chamber is going to do a lot. There's going to be a lot of matches.
Unusual WrestleMania season.
It has been, but the whole year, the whole last year and this year has been very unusual. Remember, I told you that I'd rather have, you know, going into it not knowing and then things transpiring. I know long-term storytelling goes a long way, but
it's just different from a year ago when we knew that Cody Rhodes leading up to it was going to be in the main event at WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns. Like it's different.
And look, we already know the match that Jacob Fatu and freaking Solo is a potential match. AJ Styles and freaking Finn Balor or Dominic Mysterio is a potential match. I could see I could see Logan Paul freaking fighting Kaiser freaking because of the situation with him that Tiffany Stratton canceling his show, all these things, and there's some potentially real stuff going on with that. Like I said, we're not going to know. Like after the Elimination Chamber, we'll probably know. We'll probably know a lot more on what's going on. And The Rock coming out tomorrow night. Well, The Rock coming out tomorrow night might be a potential. I'm going to come in it's going to be me versus Cody. Final boss is back.
No, here's what I was about to bring up. And if you're just joining us, we broke some news a little while ago that it came out from WWE official and The Rock that The Rock, the final boss, will be on SmackDown tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on USA. What if he comes out and tries to take that spot from Jey Uso?
Yep.
What if he comes out and says, "Listen, Us, you did great. You did awesome stuff. But that title needs to return to the family.
Yep.
Your pride is getting the better of you. So I need you to stand aside while the final boss takes your spot. And I'm going to call out Cody. And we're going to return the pride."
The fans will be pissed off. The fans will be.
Oh yes, they would be
off.
Absolutely livid.
They'll be pissed off. They'll be turning around saying, "This is bullshit, bullshit." Cursing at the Rock and doing these things. You taking the spot again.
But it gets that instant heat back on the final boss.
I know.
It
makes it a whole lot better.
On SmackDown and his promo on the first Raw Netflix. Everyone was like, "What is this? The final boss is turning. What? We're getting corporate Rock. We're not getting the final boss." He went from wanting to slashing throats and 1, 2, 3 to sipping tequila with Cody.
Yep.
What if he comes out and says, "Jay, step aside, cousin. It's my time.
Step aside, cuz."
Take Jay's spot.
Yep. And then start a rivalry with Jay. Jay will be pissed off. And then Gunther be like, "There's the match I want to see." Gunther versus The Rock, or it'd be Cody, and then you'll have CM Punk turn around, go after Gunther. So give or take, you know what? That changeup could, what, Matt? You might be onto something there. That actually,
I hope it doesn't happen because I really want to see Jey Uso win the championship. But it's a swerve that they could potentially. It gives you the same heat that Cody had last year when The Rock tried to take Cody's spot, but now it's on a different level. That could be the definitive end of the bloodline because The Rock is trying to do it to his own family now. He's trying to do it to Jey Uso, his cousin, and it could turn the rest of the bloodline against The Rock.
And it brings out friggin' Roman Reigns again, saying, "What's wrong with you? This is twice." But who knows? I don't know. Maybe that could actually be. Maybe this could be the turning point where Jacob Fatu is now taking orders from The Rock.
I was going to say that too. We get The Rock come out and Solo and Jacob are facing off, and The Rock says, "Listen, Solo, you lost. There's consequences to losing in my bloodline.
Yep.
You're out of here."
And then
Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga jump him.
And that's how you get the match for WrestleMania. Yep.
Or we find out what the final boss gave Cody.
He gave a watch back. The watch. It was a watch that he gave back.
You think he gave him his dad's watch? The Rolex?
Yeah, the Rolex. Yeah. But then again, you get the storyline.
Break my heart again.
It goes, "Break my heart again. Don't break my heart." So I kind of hey, listen, it can go either way. The Rock can come out just to introduce, I have a new movie coming up.
Yeah.
You do some stupid shit like that.
No, I think a last minute surprise. And now, if that was the case, it would have been, "Hey, The Rock's going to be live on SmackDown this Friday night." The fact that it's a 12th hour the night before.
No, but it'd be better if he came out without even knowing. Came out.
Or a tweet.
The hell with the tweet. Imagine he just came out. Imagine you were watching it. All of a sudden, The Rock come out. "The Rock is here. What the hell?" People know he's here now.
I wonder if they were going to keep it secret and ticket sales. They haven't sold out the venue yet. So now they announced The Rock, and that's going to sell out the venue.
Yep. Probably. Yeah.
Sure.
Because where is SmackDown from tomorrow night even?
SmackDown, it's actually from
Cincinnati. No,
Yeah.
that's Raw.
Okay.
Cincinnati?
No, because
I think Raw is Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Where is it now?
Oh no, it's New Orleans.
New Orleans, smart.
Live from Smoothie King Center in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Hmm.
Cincinnati, not Cincinnati.
I wondered
City.
if he's coming out though. Let's pump our brakes here too, because there has been word that they're going to announce next year's venue for WrestleMania before Mania. There's a lot of speculation that it's going to be New Orleans. They're in New Orleans. Maybe he's just coming out to be corporate rock again and announce that WrestleMania 42 is going to be in New Orleans.
Yep.
Let's be realistic. I hope it's everything that we've already talked about, and that would get me super juiced, but it very well could just be, hey, next year's WrestleMania live from New Orleans.
But Matt, read that tweet again, what he said.
He said, bold and disruptive, unpredictable and dangerous. The final boss returns live on SmackDown tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on USA.
Okay, so that could be the opening of the show. He comes out.
And then Paul Triple H Levesque said, strap in. When the final boss shows up this time of year, the audience knows absolutely anything is possible. Everything could change in an instant, which leads you to believe that's going to be some swerve towards WrestleMania.
Yes.
But maybe, again, it's to sell tickets. Maybe it's, again, to draw viewership, because viewership for SmackDown has been low, and it was low last week. Maybe it's to draw viewership for SmackDown to bump those numbers and also promote WrestleMania next year.
Yep. Okay. Hey.
Maybe The Rock's coming out to say, listen, I'm not going to make it, because Dave Meltzer came out a few weeks ago and said The Rock wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. And then The Rock kind of gave him shit for like, why are these dirt sheets talking about me?
Yep.
And, you know, he hasn't really addressed his status for WrestleMania this year. And maybe this is that. Who knows? It's only speculation. Find out tomorrow night on SmackDown. It stinks that you guys are going to be on the Qualified tomorrow night, because I would love to go live and talk about it after it happens.
I know.
Unless it's just like a dud, but there's so much it could be. And hopefully it's
program. So
what's that, Sticks?
It could happen right at the beginning of the program, like Dom said. It could happen right off the bat.
You're right.
Now,
but
here's the question, and maybe, I don't know, as long as you can hear me. What if he comes out and tries to bump one of the guys out of the Elimination Chamber to put himself into the chamber to go up against Cody?
Who's in there that he could bump, though? Who would he bump out?
Cena?
Because the Elimination Chamber.
Cena? He could bump.
No, I don't think Cena.
Well, what about Paul? What about Logan Paul?
Potentially Logan Paul. But I don't
McIntyre
really see that either, because he's got no. I mean, if one of the Usos was in it, I would say that's a possibility. Well, but he's not gonna bump Damian Priest,
Punk or Seth Rollins, because remember because Punk teamed up with his with Roman Reigns in the
but they owe Punk a favor.
But Punk and Seth are on Raw. They're not advertised for SmackDown tomorrow night. So if he was on Raw, then.
But then again, the final boss could be anywhere. He can go anywhere. He can show up anywhere. And remember, the shows it's still intertwining, even though you have your set rosters. Think about it.
Well, what if my prediction for WrestleMania happens at Elimination Chamber? What if at Elimination Chamber, Logan Paul's coming out and The Rock jumps him before he can get into the chamber, takes him out, and The Rock walks into the chamber and gets into the pod?
There you go.
Could be. But then you're going to have one Logan Paul versus the final boss.
Okay. What's wrong with that? It could potentially lead to a Logan Paul, a CM Punk Logan Paul match. You could have a Logan Paul Finn Balor match. You could have Logan Paul face anybody at Mania.
That's true.
He's not winning the chamber anyways.
I know he's not. He's just there for views.
So his WrestleMania plans are not revolved around the chamber. So, I mean, unless it's going to be to build a feud for his WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
But what if we don't get Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania? What if we get that at SummerSlam? What if beforehand? What if it's not even The Rock that takes out Logan Paul? What if it's Jacob Fatu that takes out Logan Paul?
Mm-hmm.
And The Rock takes his place in the Elimination Chamber?
Or you could have Jacob Fatu taking a spot. Braun Strowman taking Braun. Isn't Braun Strowman's not it? No,
the participants of the chamber match are Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, and CM Punk.
Okay. Say if Jacob Fatu takes out Logan Paul because The Rock wants him to be in the match, wants the belt, wants him to bring home belt, and causes a rift with Solo because Solo wanted that.
To put on Jacob.
Yeah. Then he tells Solo at the end, if he comes out at the end, say if he comes out at the end after the match, maybe because most likely the Bloodline will probably win, or there'll be a confusion that or The Rock comes out at the end and tells Solo, tells him, losing, there is no exception to losing. And then 6, like you said, they jump Solo. And then he comes out also, he's like, I'm making my way to WrestleMania. And I'm going to fight. I'm going to take so-and-so. He just says what he has to say. But The Rock can come out towards the end, more likely, or the beginning. If he comes out in the beginning, it's just a publicity stunt for just to hype where WrestleMania 42 is going to be.
What if we have something? Right now, we only have a 3-match Elimination Chamber. We have the men's chamber, the women's chamber, and Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in their unsanctioned match.
Yeah.
We're getting ready. We're rounding home. We're rounding third. So we have 2 more SmackDowns. We have this one, and then the next one, which is the go home show for Elimination Chamber. We have 1 more go home Raw for Elimination Chamber. So that means they have 3 opportunities to give us at least 1 more match at the Elimination Chamber. What if the events tomorrow night on SmackDown, we see Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at Elimination Chamber instead of Mania? And then that's when we get Logan Paul taken out. Logan Paul, The Rock interjects himself. Logan Paul comes out, calls out Jacob Fatu, and then, or Solo Sikoa takes out Logan Paul. And to show The Rock, I'm doing this for the family. I'm trying to get back in the main event for the family. And then we get we get Solo Sikoa versus Logan Paul.
Could be.
Okay.
I think it's all up in the air. This made me so much more excited for tomorrow night's Friday Night SmackDown. The possibilities are endless. Let's pray and hope Triple H books this the way we're speculating, that makes this WrestleMania season. It blows the roof off of it.
And then you turn around and it's just a simple publicity stunt. I got new tequila.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 42.
Check out my movie, WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans. Yeah.
And my mana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll see. All right, enough of that. We talked this too much.
All right. We are getting word of frustration in the WWE over the booking of the women's division. There's been growing frustration among the women over the WWE booking of the division and WrestleMania 41. A new report from Shawn Ross Sapp suggests that several superstars are unhappy with how they're being used at the moment. Some have been left wondering why men's programs are used so regularly and they get repeated, while fresh ideas for women are rarely used. Sapp also highlighted the addition of a new title to the women's division, I should say titles, but noted that the lack of consistent booking over multiple brands. Listen, we've talked about this ad nauseum on this show. Dom, specifically with how these titles should be and need to be on pay-per-views.
Nope.
We talked about it in our Royal Rumble segment. Why do we have mid-card champions in the Rumble match going for the main championship?
That was my question.
Why do we have 2 PLEs in a row in the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber that are being almost booked identical. Sub Kevin Owens for Sami Zayn for Cody Rhodes, and you have almost the same exact card. You have the men's match, men's elimination chamber match, women's Rumble, women's elimination chamber match. Cody Rhodes or Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match. Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes in a ladder match. You are almost booking two identical PLEs.
Yep. And look, I'm going to tell you this. The women's division doesn't get no love. And I'll be honest with you. You have two brand new champions in Valkyria and
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. They should be in the freaking goddamn elimination chamber fighting for those with those belts and having somebody step up. It makes no sense that you do put them in the Royal Rumble match and they already have championships. Anybody who's a champion should be eliminated from the Royal Rumble because they already have a championship. You know, I know you want to book women, have all the women come in the thing and do that. It's fine. But you should, these pay-per-views, every champion should be up and ready to go on all these pay-per-views.
Let me ask you this, Dom. Why is it that Lyra Valkyria has been a workhorse with this Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Chelsea Green has barely defended that Women's United States Championship?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Piper Niven is going to be her challenger, is going to fight her for that belt. That's in the work. That's definitely in the foreseeable future. Look, you got these championship matches. What you should do is, if you really want to get things, you can't put them on pay-per-views. You put them on the regular shows, and you have them on the regular shows. Those belts should constantly be friggin' used. There should be a match every time with those belts.
Let's up the ante. All right, we're going to up the ante. Why is Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai a Raw match next week and not our fourth match at Elimination Chamber?
Because Cody Rhodes, the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match. Look, when you put these matches, when you have these men's division matches, they take away from the women. There's only so many matches they can do. And look, remember the pay-per-views are like 3 hours? You know, now they're cutting down the pay-per-views. Well, they starting early. You know, the Elimination Chamber matches, last an hour? That's so you have the women's, that last about an hour. You get the men's, that last about an hour. That's already 2 hours going into the match, into the pay-per-view. How much more can you put in there with putting into the match? 2.5 hours, you could have the Sami Zayn fight match and then have the women's fight. I guarantee there'll be one more card, one more match for the Elimination Chamber. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a women's match.
It should be Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria because they had a banger of a match for the title on Raw.
Yes, they did. Exactly.
It was very easily could carry a pay-per-view match. That match needs to be on a PLE. It should not be on Raw.
Now, let me ask you something. What happens if Dakota wins?
I don't think that's going to be the case.
That's not going to be the case. It's going to be a fight. No changing of the belts. None of that, because, and that's not fair because, like I said, she's always getting hurt, so that's why they don't give her the opportunity. But if she's going to win, they would have had it on pay-per-view.
My only speculation of why it's on Raw is that Lyra's going to win, and after she wins, you're gonna hear Becky Lynch's music hit, and she's gonna come back and challenge Lyra for that title at Mania. Listen, with these women's mid-card titles, you have deserving superstars that are sitting back there. Let's bring up a name, Natalya. You had Natalya do a couple of things in NXT, and then she appeared in the Rumble. She had a good showing in the Rumble. She's been a very pro-company woman, always putting the company on her back, willing to do whatever it takes for the company. Why isn't she getting a shot at these?
Well, look at that thing, too. You know, okay, it's you got Trish Stratus. Remember, she's going to be in Orlando. She's going to be at the Elimination Chamber.
I don't want to see these washed up. I shouldn't call Trish washed up. That's harsh. I don't want to see these legends come out of retirement to try and add to their legacy by winning these championships. I don't want to see that. I don't want, the Nikki and Brie Bella coming back to try and be tag team champions or go after these internet kind of intrigue to come out of retirement isn't what I want to see, because that takes away from current and upcoming talent. But somebody who's been there, who's willing to be the workhorse like Natalya, getting overlooked. Listen, I think Lyra deserves it. I think Chelsea Green deserves it for what they've done. But how is it that Natalya hasn't gotten a shot yet? How is it that Mi Chin's got not one, but 2 shots at it? And now Dakota Kai's got not one, but getting 2 shots at it. But someone the likes of, I'll say it again, Shayna Baszler, the likes of Zoe Starks, the likes of Natalya haven't gotten or Io Sky, or how is it that these workhorse women who have been there haven't gotten a shot at this yet? These are mid-card titles. It's supposed to keep the women's mid-card interesting to have. So, but why is it that it seems like these titles are an afterthought and everybody's just chasing the WWE Championship and Women's World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, think about this. Remember the women's tag team championship that they had the championship and they didn't even fight for like weeks, and then they don't know how to book. Me personally, I think they don't know how to book a women's championship. Because like I said, every pay-per-view should have the championship, regardless of the fact. There should be a championship match, regardless of the fact. The regular shows, you might have hinted at a championship, and if you do have one, that it's very rare if the opponent wins unless the champion is hurt, and then they're gonna win it there and that because the champion's hurt and they have to give it up. But the whole look, you got three shows: Raw, SmackDown, NXT. There should be a constant flow of the show. Like Julia should fight either SmackDown or Raw. She's a champion. There's no reason why she needs to be in NXT. She's been around the world in the independent scene, Japan, so she could fight. Have the NXT put up another thing.
There's a different system. The WWE system is much different than the independent scene. So I am okay with her being in the NXT, getting used to the WWE system and the WWE way of doing things. That's great. I'm okay with her staying on NXT. Like, I think she is the champion. I'm okay with main roster people coming down to challenge her, but I don't want to see her coming up to the main roster to challenge people for that title. That is fine to me. But like, you've got these women's mid-card titles. They should be defended a lot more than they have been. Like I said, Chelsea Green against Mi Chin twice. And, Lyra has put it on the line, and now she's going to fight Dakota again. And I think Dakota is absolutely deserving of a title shot again. They had a banger of a match.
And that sucks.
But it's like,
I want to see them win.
It's like a spit in the face of the women who are far and beyond putting on more interesting matches lately.
And that goes to show you Charlotte winning the fucking Rumble.
Yes.
Taking a spot away from a person that's deserving.
100%.
These women are busting their ass days and out. Hey, look, it's unfortunate that Charlotte went out with an injury. You don't want to see an injury happen to anybody. It's understandable. But at least let her work her way up back into the championship picture. Let someone else. Come on, man.
Like Stig says, the knee injury is so bad that she had to get plastic surgery on her face.
Exactly. That's crazy. Yep. Look at me. Look, I feel bad for Michin. Michin just came out just recently now saying that she's not generating with the fans, and she don't know why. She says she's pleasant. She interact, but the fans aren't liking the character.
It's because she's Michin. Yeah. Let her go back to who she was before, with that same persona she had in NXT. And I bet you the fans come back.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, like I said, it's the political landscape in the WWE is big too because they
so much better than me, Chin. Just saying.
I know, but she deserves to win something at least. You know, like there's so many women that are in the WWE, SmackDown and Raw, that are well deserving of these championships. You know, Chelsea Green definitely was deserving of the championship. You know, Valkyria, I'm not saying she's not deserving, but Chelsea Green, you know, all kidding aside, she generates a crowd. They hate her, but they love her because they know that she's great in what she does.
She's got heat. She's got big heat.
Exactly. And that's what they like. Like Dominic Mysterio, right? You think about Dominic Mysterio. He is the biggest heel to ever walk the WWE. You know, eventually he will win one of those. He'll win a championship eventually. You know, but it's how you generate the crowd. Like you know, look, yes, of course, Becky Lynch is going to come back, like you said, and she's going to challenge that. And look, at the end of the day, champions on all brands should be in all the pay-per-views, one way or the other. And you know what? I tell you this: go back to what they used to do. Have one show basically Raw, one show basically SmackDown. And then they only meet up in Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble and those big pay-per-views like that. Have the pay-per-views separated so you can give more time and have more matches for these women to fight. Because obviously it's not working on what they're doing.
Sticks, you got any thoughts on this?
I'd like to see. I said it before. I think I said it in the chat pre WrestleMania or Royal Rumble that I couldn't understand why these girls with the belt were in the Rumble. They already have a belt, and you said, well, you know, try to get them into a bigger championship. Fine, but it took spots away from other people. You talked about not having a legend come in to go after a spot. I thought we had a good run a couple years ago, 3 years ago, when what's her name came back versus was fighting with Tiffany, or not Tiffany, with Trish Stratus,
Zoe
Lita?
and
Lita.
yeah, the Lita. I thought that came out pretty well. We knew she wasn't going to win, or she wasn't going to hold it long if she did. But I thought she had a good run as a legend, coming back and still being able to do it. Which Trish can still do it. We've seen that she can still do it. And Natalya, she's this close to being a legend herself. She already is. But as far as in status, she's been with the company for as long as she's been a wrestler. She definitely deserves something in this point of her career. So I agree with that. Women's division needs more structure. It needs more it needs more of what they do with the men, where you got your line and you go through the line. The women's division is kind of all over the place, in my opinion. This person comes over here. This person comes over. It's not, I challenge. It's all challenges and come arounds. It's not anything else. It needs more structure.
I agree, and I don't want to see these legends come out of retirement just to chase these titles. These are mid-card titles. These are supposed to give the mid-card women something to strive for and compete for and make women's wrestling interesting. You had a whole revolution, the women's revolution and evolution. Don't put saddle legends part-timers with these titles unless they're going to make a full run and defend them.
Yeah, don't make it like you're like someone's gonna come out of the woodwork, like, oh, here comes Molly Holly.
Yeah,
out of somewhere, where she may be.
Kelly.
Get Kelly, Maria, whoever you want to throw into that mix that hasn't been in WWE or WWF for a long time. Don't do that, but
Melina.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have more breaking news.
Oh, here we go.
More breaking news. Dr. Real Britt Baker. She wants you to know that she thinks the McDonald's Shamrock shake his ass.
Maybe in Pittsburgh.
Just thought I would throw that out there.
That's nasty.
But I agree with these sticks. I don't know. They need more structure in the women's division and not just in the title, the main WWE and heavyweight championship picture.
Well, listen, like I said one more time before we get off this topic, if they have the single pay-per-views like they did before, it will give more opportunity for more matches. You're trying to fit a handful of matches for each show, and unfortunately, it takes away from the people who deserve to be on the shows.
I mean, do you remember back in the old days when the roster was, what it was, and you knew how many wins and losses a guy had and whether or not they were going to make it into a championship match? You could see it in the teleplay.
You mean like how AEW started, where wins and losses matter?
Right. Yeah. That's what it needs to be back to. Make it structured so that you can see, this person has won X amount of matches. They need to be going for that title shot because they have wins under their belt. That's what it needs to be. It's too fly by the seat of their pants right now.
Well said. All right, and that ends it for our news segment. Now it's time for our off the mat reviews of this week's professional wrestling.
Fight, ignite tonight, wrestling fire burns so bright. In this review, we'll show what's true, breaking barriers, breaking through.
All right, kicking us off this week, we have the Friday Night SmackDown from 2/14 of 25. We were welcomed to Friday Night SmackDown by Wade Barrett. He also welcomed NXT's play-by-play commentator, Vic Joseph, to the table. Cody Rhodes made his way to the ring. He talked about his possible challengers in the Elimination Chamber and gauges the fans' reception to them. Drew McIntyre enters. He wants to remind Cody Rhodes of their recent history. He doesn't want things to get personal, but he made it so. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga show up. He's going to dog walk Priest and Strowman tonight. And when he's done running through them, he will win the chamber, go to WrestleMania, and bring the title back to the family. McIntyre thinks people would like to see them go at it, but he hasn't got much else to say, so he leaves the ring. Solo Sikoa arrives at the parking lot. Jacob Fatu tells Cody Rhodes he wants first words. Good opening to SmackDown, I think. Yep. Interesting to see the Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu both going after Solo Sikoa. That led us to our first Elimination Chamber qualifier match of the night. We had Naomi versus Chelsea Green with Piper Niven. Spoiler alert. It was Naomi that attacked Jade Cargill.
Spoiler alert. That's true. But also, Bianca Belair orchestrated it. She was the mastermind.
After that match, we got an interview with Sami Zayn talking from his home, telling us about his struggles with his neck. Kevin Owens tried to end his career, but he doesn't understand why. He doesn't know when he will be cleared, but when he returns, it isn't going to be fun. That led us to a tag team match: Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza, with MCMG going over, I should say. Jacob Fatu questions Solo Sikoa, who tells him that they need to work together to bring the title back to the family. As Fatu turns his back on him, Sikoa grabbed him by the arm and says he loves him. Fatu and Tonga walked out of the room without saying a word. I love you, Jacob. Shinsuke Nakamura, or better known as the King of Slow Style, if you're Sticks, makes his way to the ring. He says he says that he has watched the 4 weeks from challenge, or waited for 4 weeks for a challenge. No warriors here. Nobody is ready to step up. LA Knight interrupts. Since he's been hiding in the shadows and praying for a worthy contender, that's the biggest lie he's ever heard. The last time they were in the ring, he planted his head in the mat. They want to talk about tests for that championship, but the test has already been failed, and everybody's saying, awesome. The Miz enters and tells us that the fans aren't educated. They aren't smart. They're basic. He sees what Shinsuke sees, that nobody else is worthy. LA Knight laughs because the Miz has been using the same old shtick for over 10 years. That was when he was last relevant. Fans don't want to see him anymore, and he might as well go away. The Miz pretends to cry because LA Knight said it was okay for men to cry. LA Knight says he missed the point, which he typically does. The Miz wants to call his shot. Some more insults are thrown around until the Miz gets angry and attacks him. Knight knocks him out to the outside of the ring, and then Nick Aldis appears to book them in a #1 contenders match for that episode. So we had our U.S. #1 championship contenders match, LA Knight versus The Miz. And of course, we saw LA Knight go over. Are you guys excited by seeing LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura again?
No.
Not really.
I like LA Knight. I think LA Knight should move on to something else. You know, there's a lot more talent out there that LA Knight could fight. You know, Shinsuke Nakamura, you know, should have somebody else to jump into the ring with him. You know, that's the only belt that right now that LA Knight can go for, because the championship belt is going to be defended.
Tied up already.
Exactly. So there's nowhere else you can go. You know, unless you go over to Raw and fight Ron Breakker, you know. But you know what, man?
He could go to TNA.
He could. But I think that you know, let this end, this thing, which most likely you're going to see the Miz come in again. It's going to be a 3-way. Miz, Shinsuke, and friggin' LA Knight. That's going to be the card in WrestleMania, guarantee. You know, they'll fight, they'll do something like that, but you know what? I don't know.
Triple threat match? Like a triple threat match with them?
Because you have to get the Miz in there. They want the Miz in there. You know, and another thing too is, where the hell is the Wyatt Six?
They're off TV because of Bo Dallas's injury.
Yes, but that sucks. They could still come out and do things. You know, it sucks that they're sitting back there. Yes, he's hurt, but what kind of injury does Bo Dallas have? I know they said he was hurt. I know that.
I don't know specifically what his injury is, but I just know that they said that he's off TV due to injury, and a lot of speculation around whatever creatively they're going to do with Alexa Bliss. Because if you've noticed during Alexa Bliss's matches, they've kind of had that like interruption like they were having with the Wyatt Six before they made their debut. Yeah. But speaking of Alexa Bliss in the backstage segment wished Nia Jax luck ahead of her title match with Tiffany Stratton. We got a match between R-Truth versus Carmelo Hayes, which saw Carmelo Hayes go over, which I think they need to let R-Truth, with all the work and comedic relief R-Truth has been doing, they need to give that man something. Bring back the 24/7 championship for that man.
Exactly.
24/7, 365, 7-Eleven championship. I-95 championship. Yeah. After that match, we saw a Street Profits vignette. Pretty Diddly stands up to DIY backstage. Ciampa tells them that after next week, their dreams of becoming champion is dead. So, of course, that means that on SmackDown tomorrow night, we're probably going to get a Pretty Deadly versus DIY championship match. Why is that match not on Elimination Chamber? Who knows? Kevin Owens responds to Sami Zayn. He doesn't know what the real Bryan is, but he will show him. KO can't think of a better place than in Canada at Elimination Chamber. Are you guys excited for this match? Unsanctioned Elimination Chamber. Kevin Owens
Yeah,
versus
I'll be
Sami
honest with you.
Zayn.
I'm actually tired of Sami Zayn going back and forth fighting Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is good, Sami Zayn is bad. Kevin Owens is bad, Sami Zayn is good. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Every couple of years.
Exactly. You know, look. It's another match that the unsanctioned match, you could actually have that on a regular show. It's not a championship match. You could have it on a regular show, and that can be the main event of a regular show going into a pay-per-view. You know, like I said, Kevin Owens is great. You know, Sami Zayn is great, but go figure. Friggin' how Sami Zayn bounced back from that injury. He had nerve damage, a shoulder that's messed up, a twitch in his ear, a vowel movements that he shits his pants every 2 seconds. He wears the pens, and he's gonna fight. Hey, look, we all know what's gonna happen. Randy Orton is making his way to eventually be in that. It's gonna be Randy Orton versus KO in WrestleMania. That's gonna be.
I think so too. And I think Sami Zayn's got to get healed because El Generico needs to show up to train Chad Gable in the dark arts of Lucha Libre.
Yes. Yo, you see that video I sent you guys earlier? I sent you the video when he was in TNA.
El Generico.
Yeah. El Generico. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
But
hailing from Tijuana, Mexico, El Generico.
There we go.
That would be funny if he came back.
That was funny. But you know what? That's going to be interesting. You know, like you got Penta, right? Well, kidding aside, I know you were talking about SmackDown, but Penta could be another match at WrestleMania. Or you could have Penta inside the fighting.
Sadly, I think we're going to get Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser at Mania. That's the way it's looking.
I don't know. It could be Logan Paul.
I don't know. I don't think.
What about Volkanov? What's his name? He's coming back from his foot injury, his knee injury. He's been training, so you can get him.
Oh,
Dragunov.
Yeah.
No, Dragunov.
Yeah.
I think he goes again. I think he's going to be put against Gunther whenever he comes back, but that's just
him or Ron Breakker to try to win the belt.
Yeah.
It depends on
we then got our WWE Championship match, Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax with Candice LeRae. Tiffany Stratton won that via DQ after Candice LeRae's interference. Trish Stratus jumped to the rail to help Tiffany Stratton, but she is also taken out by Jax. After the heels leave, Charlotte Flair makes her entrance. After taking a seat on a chair in the ring, she eventually gets around to telling Stratton that she chooses her for WrestleMania. We get a backstage segment with Nick Aldis telling Bianca Belair and Naomi there has been a development in the Jade Cargill situation. He shows them video sent from somebody anonymous. It shows Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez suspiciously walking away from the scene while Cargill is loaded into the ambulance. Naomi is happy about this and believes it proves that what she's been saying all along. But Aldis reminds them that this isn't proof.
Hey, listen, real quick. Bianca Belair went to her Twitter to the fans. He goes, apologize for thinking it was us. So I think it's Bianca Belair. You know, you got to go against the fans because the fans think it was her.
I'm still sticking strong that it's Naomi.
Well, it may, like I said, it's Naomi, but Bianca Belair orchestrated it. She's the mastermind behind it. So go figure. That could be the fight that Jade Cargill has at WrestleMania. Because I think they're going to find out in the Elimination Chamber. She's going to find out who really did that to her and come after Naomi and Bianca Belair.
We have our 4th Elimination Chamber match. Trish Stratus asked Tiffany Stratton if she wants to team up with her at Elimination Chamber, and the champion is very happy to accept. So we got Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus, I think, Nia Jax and Candice LeRae at Elimination Chamber. So there's our 4th match. Which, again, why isn't it a women's title match? But whatever. That led us to our last match of the night, which was our men's final spot Elimination Chamber qualifier match which saw Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. And the winner was Damian Priest after Cody Rhodes stopped Solo Sikoa's interference. And that took us to the end of SmackDown. What did you guys think of SmackDown overall this week or last week?
I'll give it a B. I gave it a B because I know that the Jacob Fatu and Solo thing is going to come coming to a head now. You're going to see what happens. Either Solo's going to become a face, or Jacob Fatu's going to become a face, and Solo's going to be bad, and you have some don't go to war with them. It's going to have another civil war in the bloodline type of thing. Other than that, the matches were decent. Like I said, I don't think we'll get A SmackDowns. B is basically the basic you get because the matches are good, but it could be other stuff that they put into it that make it better.
SmackDown to me was a solid B minus. Again, so much focus put on the bloodline and Cody Rhodes to where everyone else just kind of feels like they're taking a backseat. It's just kind of like bloodline, Cody Rhodes, everyone else is an afterthought. So until everyone else still gets a little bit more shine, even Shinsuke, I feel like even Shinsuke as the United States champion is being overshadowed by what's going on with the bloodline and Cody Rhodes and this build up towards WrestleMania. I think it's time for them to start their road to end game for the bloodline and allow some of these other guys to have a little bit more focus and fine tuning. So to me, I think SmackDown's kind of a B minus.
I'm going to give it a solid B plus, just a solid B. For everything what you guys said. The matches were good, but I think there needs to be something a little bit more going on SmackDown to generate more fan fervor for it. So just a general regular SmackDown, nothing special.
And that leads us to our first, our PLE for the weekend, Vengeance Day, NXT's Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day was a solid show, was it not? Did you guys enjoy Vengeance Day?
It had, yeah, it was good.
Yeah. No. All the matches were good.
Yep.
For this, I definitely give it an A, bordering on an A plus. I thought everything they put together was solid and went well.
Yep. Well, my girl Stephanie.
Just waiting for my notes here. All right. WWE Vengeance Day 2025 saw a singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Stephanie Vauquier defeated Fallon Henley by pinfall to win the title, like Dom just said. Congratulations to Stephanie for winning her first singles title in WWE. We saw an NXT Tag Team Championship match. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated Josh Briggs and Yoshiaki Inamura by pinfall. After the match, the four mysterious stars who were teased to be showing up went on attack, all wearing masks. We talked earlier, we said the Shield 2.0, but the more we get from this feels like what was that shitty group that
the one that was in WWE that was causing problems. What the hell's the name of it? I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember because I remember Nietzsche was part of that. You had a whole bunch of different the WWE. You found that this guy was the leader of the group. Was it? That group went over real well.
Nobody can remember. I can't remember the name of the group.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
What's his-
I'm sure somebody out there is like yelling at us of what it is too.
What's his name? Friggin' he
Who?
went to TNA. Ali, the guy Ali. He was the leader of the
Retribution.
Okay, there you go.
Retribution. They give off Retribution vibes, not Shield 2.0 vibes.
But you know what's funny? The mask came off one of the guys. He had to cover himself again.
Yeah, a couple of them there. Yeah.
But I actually think that you know, there's something brewing with that group.
But that wasn't
Very
the only time we saw them.
Yeah.
It's something you know, I think somebody who just signed could be the leader.
We had a vignette from Channing Stax Lorenzo at a restaurant table about how he's going to get payback for the family on Tuesday night after the attack from Izzy Dame, Shawn Spears, Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance last week. Then we had a strap match between Eddie Thorpe defeating Trick Williams by pinfall. Ricky Starks popped in a video to say that he's going to sign his NXT contract in the ring. Notably, his name was still not said in capacity, which we talked about Ricky Starks earlier tonight. Ethan Page defeated Javon Evans by pinfall after taking out Evans' mouth guard, hitting him with a knee, hitting him in the jaw, re-injuring it, then laying him out with his finisher. We saw a triple threat match for the NXT Championship. Obafemi defeats Austin Theory and Grayson Waller by pinfall. Grayson Waller was the one who ate that pinfall. After the match, the four masked guys once again went on the attack, going after just Obafemi. Backstage, Sheriff Schreiber interviewed Ava about the attack. Ava was overall meh about it, just saying that she'll deal with them and that they want to make an impact. Poor writing, in my opinion. Ariana Grace and Santino Marella then came over to talk to Ava, as Santino had some ideas to talk to Ava about with the TNA/NXT crossover partnership. We saw our main event, which was a fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's Championship, which saw Julia defeating Bayley, Cora Jade, and Roxana Perez by pinfall over Perez. Following the match, Julia stood in the ring with Stephanie Valkyrie and Jordan Grace, which, let's go back to last week. We called Julia retaining. I think we called this one pretty spot on.
Yeah.
All across the board.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think I took the tag team championships. I didn't get, because I thought that these guys were going to win.
Yeah, you thought the other team was going to win.
I thought Axiom was going to drop too. I think Styx was the only one that picked Axiom.
Yeah.
But it was overall much better called on our part than we did the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was your overall opinion on NXT Vengeance Day?
I gave this a solid A minus. A minus. For non-Raw or SmackDown pay-per-view, I thought it was well received. I think like I said, NXT. A lot of people don't watch NXT, and they should, because you see the passion in these guys and these girls that are fighting, that they have something to fight for, and the storylines may lack a little here and there, but I think the action is all good, and especially the women's division, the back action is phenomenal. But other than that, it's good. It was good. I gave it an A minus.
You just like watching Stephanie pound chicks with her booty, huh?
God. Now listen, pull
yourself off a little bit.
I tell you what, I had women used to do that to me, but that's beside the point.
Nick, what do you think of Vengeance Day?
I'll review. I said it was a solid A, bordering on an A plus. I think everything went off on this program the way you wanted it to, and hit where you wanted it to. So I was very pleased with this PLE.
I agree. I think Vengeance Day was very good. It was more It was a lot better. I think a lot better showing than the Royal Rumble. Very well booked, very well paced.
Yep.
The women's
Yeah.
championship match was good. You got a
Mhm.
little shine for newcomer Jordan Grace.
Yep.
And when she came in to make the save, we saw Stephanie finally win her title. Julia retained. It was all around very what you wanted to see predictability wise, but we should be setting up and getting ready to get on the road to NXT Stand and Deliver.
You know, you see how well they book the women's championship matches in these in NXT. Why can't they do that in the main roster?
I don't know.
It's
I really think that NXT is very well evenly booked
Yes.
compared to the main roster, but
Mhm.
maybe it's because there's a smaller group, smaller crop that they have to work with. Although, like, there's Nikita Lyons, which I wish she would get some more play.
But she's hurt again, I think. Did she get hurt again?
Did she get hurt again?
I don't know. I think she might have because she came back for a little bit. I don't know.
But that's it for Vengeance Day. Next up, we have AEW Grandstand Australia. Don't call it a PLE because it is not. It is just, well, a regularly shown on TNT match, even though
just a regular old
it was
collision.
promoted as such.
It was hinted. It was hinted. I won't
Yeah,
say
we saw Will Ospreay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takashi. Oh my God, Takeshita. I can't speak. Winner was Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. It's a pretty good match.
It was a damn good match.
Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay always put on banger matches.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
We had the TBS Championship match: Mercedes Mone versus Harley Cameron, and Mercedes Mone retains.
That sucks.
She's so boring to watch.
I know that sucks because I want to see Harley win that belt because hometown. You know, I'm telling you, she's killing it with the singing with the puppet. That I'm telling you, she's very talented. You know, it's kind of funny how she was with WWE at one time, and then she leaves and goes someplace else, and she shines. But the whole fact is that, yeah, I think they dropped the ball in that match, and Mercedes Monet, her thing is getting kind of boring, kind of stale.
It is.
Yeah.
Because she's not the professional and showman she was in WWE.
Yes.
No.
This is leftovers. Zaggy says 2-2 end of regulation. Canada versus UK hockey. This is determined World War III.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. That's true. That's for another time. We'll talk about that.
We got a backstage promo with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay challenging Kyle Fletcher to a steel cage match at Revolution. Then we saw our third match of the night, which was John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus Adam Copeland, a.k.a. Cope, and Jay White. We saw the Death Riders team of John Moxley and Castagnoli win via technical submission. Then we got the AEW Intercontinental Championship match. Okada versus Buddy Matthews. This is where Matthews got hurt and twisted his ankle. Yep. And we saw Okada retain. And then our match of the night, we saw timeless Tony Storm taking on Mariah May with the best thing going in AEW. Quite frankly, could potentially argue the best thing going in women's professional wrestling. Timeless Tony Storm. Once again, becoming women's
putting
AEW
on a performance champion of a lifetime.
Yes, she did.
You know, I actually like the way they do her promos is in black and white and kind of like a movie type of thing. You know, she's a good wrestler. You know, she's a good wrestler. She didn't have her time to shine when she was with WWE. You know, she's definitely one of the highlights of AEW. If you're gonna watch AEW, watch it for her because she's really good. It's just I like when she goes, I'm gonna punch her in the tits. You
Yeah.
know, he figured rip off her tits. You know, but yeah, she is the best part of AEW in the women's division. Definitely.
Mhm. Yeah. Coming from someone who enjoys watching a lot of black and white, I enjoyed the fact that they use black and white for her promos. I really do. That's great because that persona, we'll say persona, it works in well with that persona.
Yes.
Going like the way the match starts, she comes out, it's black and white, and as she's walking up the ring, it totally goes into color. Like, damn, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
Use of the
Thoughts
use of the
on
lighting.
AEW GrandSlam Australia?
You know, I'll give it a B plus.
You are very generous.
I'll give it a B plus.
Very generous.
You know why? Because there were some good things in it. You know, overall, I don't watch it that much, but you know, once in a while I'll catch it, and I thought it was pretty good. You know, B plus, B minus. More of a B plus. Because I did enjoy some of the matches.
Dom, you're always a nice guy. I've never heard you say a negative thing about anyone other than Brucifer. And listen, or Marco. I guess Marco too. But I give it a C plus because one, you're using a 16x16 ring. Two, Buddy Matthews got injured for his match.
Mhm.
Three, Will Ospreay and the Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match was great. And then of course, timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May was a great match as well. So I give it a C plus.
Okay.
Mhm. All right. I'm gonna give it a B.
Damn, both of you. Look at Styx being generous too.
I really did enjoy watching it. Now, some people had problems, I guess. If you were watching it on TNT, it didn't start on time because of the NBA All-Star game. But if you were on Max, it started on time, and I watched it on Max. People complaining about the ring. Yeah, it was a small ring, no doubt. But they don't do things like WWE does, where they already WD. From what I'm understanding, WWE keeps a ring in certain areas of the world because they go there more often.
They do.
All right.
Yep.
This is the first time AEW has gone out of the country to Australia.
To Australia, yes, they do. They did go to.
They went to Wembley. They went to Wembley, and you know, I don't remember anyone complaining about that. I don't know if they shipped a ring over there for that. I don't know if that was different because they had a ring over there that was the right size. Where here in Australia they didn't. You know, you don't want to spend the money to ship something over there. Whatever. If you got one that you can use it. You don't know how many times you're going to go back to want to keep it over there and store it for the next time, if there is a next time. Right?
Right.
The size of the ring didn't affect my enjoyment of the matches. Now, if you had a problem with the setup of the ring, that's different. People were complaining that, and I didn't really notice it. I'd have to go back and watch it. That some of the posts were bowed in. Obviously, he got injured because of the boards not being put together correctly. You know, I mean, the wrestlers, you were able to use that ring to their ability without more than a couple of instances. I think I don't want to say it's a moot argument, but
Yeah,
I
but
think
you use that smaller. You use that smaller 16x16 ring. That's less area, less ground, less real estate for your superstars to really use to perform. Dom's falling asleep over there.
I'm not falling asleep. I was looking at something.
He's like,
no, I'm looking at my phone real quick. Something.
Dom, quit looking at Pornhub. He's looking at pictures of
I just
Stephanie
don't
Fakir's
think, I don't think
backside.
that 4 I don't think that 4 feet yes, it's a lot, but I don't think it affected their performance as greatly as the outside world thinks it did.
All right.
That's me.
Moving on to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw kicked off with Sami Zayn opening the show by talking to fans in the ring. He has had a lot of time to think about the history between him and Kevin Owens. There's no two guys who've been tied together for their entire careers like they have. In a story like that, there are always going to be a lot of betrayals, forgiving and forgetting, but ultimately there is no forgiving and forgetting this time. It wasn't about sending a message this time. It was about ending his career. Problem is he doesn't get the job done. He knows that he has it in his tank and is enough for a fight. He will be in Toronto and wants this fight. Adam Pearce interrupts him, and then there's a big part of him that wants this match but isn't medically cleared to compete. As much as he wants this, the answer is no. Sami Zayn asks Pearce, how long have you known him and Kevin? Long before any of them signed with WWE contracts. So he knows he won't take no for an answer. Sami is not leaving the ring until he gets the match. Pearce says he can't sanction this, so whatever Kevin decides to do, he cannot stop him. WWE would wash their hands of this legally in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber. It could be Sami Zayn's last match. It will be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, but it will be unsanctioned.
Unsanctioned. I like the way they put it there.
It's just another term for a straight fight.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Hey, no referee, right?
Right, no referee either.
So
It's like
it don't matter.
it's like a match on the protest type of match. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We then saw Judgment Day backstage talking about them getting back into business at Elimination Chamber. Finn Balor tells Raquel Rodriguez that it would be pretty embarrassing if she locks Roxana Perez tonight, which she says won't happen. And before they can talk about it, Balor tells them there won't be any new members. So a group that all had say is now quickly turning into Finn Balor, which I think is really going to drive the end of this group. That led us to AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio with Carlito. AJ Styles picking up the win. Braun Breaker gets in the ring and attempts to spear AJ, but he drills Dominic instead. Styles throws him out of the ring. A frustrated Braun Breaker throws his shirt at him. AJ tries to pick up the IC title, but Braun grabs it and walks away in a huff. That's another person who, other than Sheamus, is not really defending that title since that match with Sheamus, or since he won it back. That's the other side of this. Is our complaints with the women's mid-card titles are just as relevant as in the men's division. That Shinsuke Nakamura should be defending that championship more, and so should Braun Breaker. Lyra Valkyria sits at ringside to watch the next match, which was the Women's Intercontinental Championship #1 contender match, Ivy Nile versus Dakota Kai, with Dakota Kai picking up the win. Gunther enters the venue like Jey Uso. He wants fans to do the yeet thing, but nobody does. Clearly, it is a simple gesture from simple people who could not possibly understand what Gunther is doing. He is sick and tired of stepping in the ring with people who cannot lace up his boots. He was hopeful for a beating sense into Jay to make the right decision, but Yeats gave him a false sense of confidence.
Hey, listen, you have to build up the rivalry with them, but kind of funny if The Rock comes out tomorrow and freaking tells Jay your match is over with. You're not going to be fighting Gunther. Take a seat.
Step aside, cousin.
But I don't see that happening. I still say that Jay's going to win the championship. He wins the championship, and he finally wins his first championship, and that causes a rift because you know that his boy, freaking Roman Reigns, will be jealous.
Then Gunther said the fans should be honest with themselves. Do they really think that Jay stands a chance of beating him? Why not get a professional opinion on this topic? He asked Michael Cole and Pat McAfee for their professional and unbiased opinions. McAfee tells him he thinks anything can happen on one night, and he hopes Jay wins. Gunther looks upset with this, but luckily for Pat, Jay Uso showed up. Security tries to stop him from getting in the ring, but he runs past them and a fight breaks out. In the end, it's Gunther who backs out of it, and Jay rubs it in by getting everyone to yeet.
You know what, man? Listen, stop it with the security. Stop it. Because no matter who they get, these guys break through. And they always wind up doing what they got to do. They suck security. They should have me. I do security, real security. Put me in there.
Dom's a real security man.
Yeah.
We got a backstage interview with Kathy Kelly, which, predictably Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez deny having any involvement taking out Jade Cargill. We got our third match of the night, Penta versus Pete Dunne, with Penta picking up the wing. Ludwig Kaiser distracted both of them during the match. A fight broke out between the three of them after the match, and Penta stood tall at the end, which I think, I wonder if that's going to lead us to a triple threat match at Mania. Pete Dunne versus Ludwig Kaiser versus Penta.
Yeah. Maybe that's going to probably be that, definitely. And then another thing, like I said,
maybe the Raw after.
What happened?
Maybe the Raw after WrestleMania. I don't know if it'll be a WrestleMania, man.
Something maybe. Look, usually the Raw after Mania is usually the most wildest time. That's one of the craziest shows. You gotta build up rivalries. Penta slowly but surely, because Chad Gable is going to come back with the practicing the dog arts. He's going to come back to fight Penta. That's what he wants to do. So,
and I think Penta beats him again.
Yeah, probably.
Then we got our final women. I think it's a final. Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez for the last spot in the Elimination Chamber. Roxanne Perez wins after interference by Bianca Belair and Naomi. The New Day tries to talk to the people in the ringside, but they are booed mercilessly. Xavier Woods lists the things that they're upset about. They should be grateful for how much mercy they showed Rey Mysterio. They should thank God they did that. All of them should be on their knees thanking God for the New Day. The rest of the Latino World Order, with no Rey Mysterio, shows up to put a beating on the New Day. That led us to our main event, our botch-filled main event of the night. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor in the final spot for the men's elimination qualifier match, with Seth Rollins picking up the win. You know what botch I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
The ref basically 1, 2, 3, and the delayed kick out by Finn Balor as the ref stopped and didn't count 3 when he could have counted to 4.
Could have counted to 5, I think. And once in a while that happened, then you see Seth Rollins was frustrated. He told the ref, "You're an idiot."
But all in all, it was a good match. It was a banger of a match. Good way to end Raw. What would you guys give your rating of Monday Night Raw?
I would give it a B plus.
Sticks?
B plus. I'll concur. I'll give it a B plus as well.
Damn, Sticks and Dom both being B plus players, huh?
Yep.
I give it an A minus. I feel like it was a good show. You had from the first match with AJ Styles versus Dominic was strong. Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile was good. Penta versus Pete Dunne was good. The Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez match was good. And of course, I thought the main event was a banger. So I'd give it an A minus, solid A minus.
You got to give more matches to Dakota Kai, Ivy Nile, all those back shots that they were getting on them when they were freaking landing on the floor.
Dom, you got a nice booty. You deserve more matches.
Yes.
You pig.
Yes.
All right. That led us to Tuesday night's NXT. We saw Cora Jade defeat Bayley by pinfall. Nikita Lyons had words with Zarya in the locker room, setting up a match for later that night. You saw Eddie Thorpe with another vignette challenging Trick Williams to a strap match for Vengeance Day. after the commercial break. Wait. I'm looking at the wrong one. Hold on. I got the wrong notes up, I think.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Sorry. Whoops. Rewind. My bad. Obafemi opened the show looking for a fight for the still as of yet unnamed new faction. I'm getting so sick and tired of writing this stuff out. Surprisingly, Moose from TNA showed up instead. The X Division champion said a match between them needs to happen, and Femi said it will, and that's it. No announcement for action or anything.
Hey, look at the chat.
Yeah, I see that. Just nothing I can do about it from here, I don't think. Oh well. Next up, we had footage was shown of Eddie Thorpe, and that Connor and Dixon want a match with Thorpe. We got a number one contenders triple threat match. Carmen Petrovich defeated Jordan and Jada Parker by pinfall. Then we had Saraya and Solrika defeated Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson by pinfall.
My girl, Jada Parker, never gets the love, man, anymore, man.
You just like her because of her booty.
Say something. That girl's smoking, man.
You just like the booty, Dom.
Of course, man. Why wouldn't I?
We got our contract signing segment with Ricky Starks, spoke about how he plans to take over NXT. Then, of course, we covered that earlier. Ethan Page interrupted him, and then he was interrupted by Wes Lee. Ricky Starks punched Lee, only to knock him out of the ring, and it was revealed that Ricky Starks will be going by Ricky Saints. Then we saw Shawn Spears defeat Stack Lorenzo by pinfall. Backstage, we saw more Moose. Moose and Lexus King were talking. King is upset that the TNA guys are coming in and want title shots, but aren't putting their own belts on the line. Moose then took a match between them for the X Division Championship next week. I thought the Heritage Cup was also on the line, but maybe I'm wrong. Eddie Thorpe defeated Andre Chase by pinfall, because Chase U is no longer going. Ava and Ricky Saints were talking together backstage when they bumped into Ethan Page, who was upset about being attacked by Evans. Wes Lee also came over and to complain, and Evans also showed up while other officials separated everyone. Ava then changed the idea around that there will be a tag team match next week with Wes Lee and Page against Saints and Evans.
You know what's cool? Remember I told you it's kind of cool, Ethan Page against Ricky Saints. I was telling you that. Remember I told you that I want to see them fight. That's going to be pretty good. So we're going to get the fight. We'll get it. It's on the verge of that.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the evening, we saw no quarter catch crew challenge the Hardy Boys to a match. We then got the Hardy Boys accepting that match. So next week, for the first time ever, we're going to see the innovators of the Tag Team Championship match, the Hardy Boys, in action as part of TNA on WWE programming in NXT.
It's pretty cool.
It was so odd. That whole segment was so odd because they're arguing with the champions from NXT, and then like they turn around and all of a sudden they're challenging the Hardys.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I don't know. Yo, and my man's got one of the biggest lists going. You know, when he talks, he's like, "Succotash."
Yeah, he does. I think he feels like he's on the spectrum. I don't know if he is. Don't quote me on that, but that's what it feels like. Or it's just that lisp. I don't know.
You know,
either way.
Another thing is, what's his face? Tommy, what's championship? What's his name? How do you say his name again? The champion.
Which one?
On NXT. What's his name?
Moose?
No. For NXT.
Bethany?
Femi. He got jumped by them. You know, he got jumped by them too. They're taking no prisoners. So that another thing too, because when he came out, he was looking for them, and that's when Moose came out. So, kind of how they changed things off, how they're doing that. Because that's surprising that Moose did come out. You know, didn't expect that. I like that in particular.
I didn't know.
Then we got our main event, the 6-woman tag team match. Julia, Stephanie Valkyrie, and Jordan Grace defeated Fatal Influence by pinfall. And the last bit of the episode ended was as they were showing that Ava's office was trashed and Robert Stone was attacked. No one is safe was written on the wall. What did you guys think of Tuesday night's episode of NXT?
Hey, solid B+.
Mr. B+ player. Dom Tober, old man Fett. Sticks.
I'm going A. I thought this was a good continuation from Vengeance Day. I thought there was another good, solid showing from the roster.
I'm going A as well. I agree with everything Sticks has said. It was a great show, great follow-up to Vengeance Day, and we're kind of getting our sights and direction heading towards NXT Stand and Deliver. So that brings us to this week's AEW Dynamite. Dynamite kicked off with MJF and Hangman Page face-to-face. There was a lot of security at ringside. To Dom's account, more security. MJF begins by saying the year was 2019 and the first event was Double or Nothing. The Casino Battle Royale was the first match, and the winner got a challenge for the AEW World Championship. Hangman Page screwed him in that match, so he had to work his way up to the top and did so by beating some of the biggest names in pro wrestling has to offer. Page cut MJF off to say that he wishes he could take that back, and Christopher Daniels, because MJF started talking about Christopher Daniels and loving cowboy shit, and Page cut him off and says that he wishes that he could take back and whatever happened to Christopher Daniels is more of a man than he'll ever be. He took care of professional wrestling even when it didn't take care of him. Daniels is the best of all of us, and it's men and women like him to pave the way so they could stand in the ring. And it's that selflessness that MJF doesn't understand, and he doesn't have the stomach for it. This is an interesting face off at the beginning. It was I felt like it was too long, but it was very intriguing and passionate. And I think that it's going to lead to some interesting stuff. I think Hangman Adam Page and MJF are going to have some interesting stuff moving forward, moving into the next couple of Premium Lives events for them. Our first match of the night was Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata, the Ops versus Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Kip Saban. Winners was Samoa Joe and the Ops via submission. Chris Jericho is upset. No Chris Jericho, no AEW. He should not be disrespected. He's a 9-time world champion. Bandito got the biggest win of his life in Australia, so he's going to give him a chance to challenge him for the Ring of Honor World Championship on Collision. Who cares?
I knew you were going to say that.
We got a street fight between Powerhouse Hobbs and Big Bill, which saw Powerhouse Hobbs winning via a 10 count. We got some time with the new AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, who cut a scathing yet raunchy yet John Cena dedicated promo. She stole some stuff from John Cena, but she said that in Australia she faced the women from hell who broke her heart, took her title, and ruined her soul, Mariah May, and a sick bitch, but she is proud of her. She gave her the fight of her life, and then she beat her with her small package. May should have worn protection, as she nailed her with the biggest package there's ever been. As for this championship, if she is going to be the best, she needs to beat the best. Whether they want to go tit for tit or lip to lip, she is not hard to find, for her name is Timeless Toni Storm.
When she says lip to lip, which ones are we talking about?
The ones on her face.
Oh, okay.
Pervert. You
Oh,
Willow
Great.
Nightingale attempts an interview, but is taken out by Maria Schaffer. John Moxley joins her, and they make it out to ringside. Moxley reminds everyone he is AEW World Champion, so it is his building, and the fans are sitting in his seats. Nobody comes into his house and lays out a challenge. He should just pop Adam Copeland's head off his shoulders, and if he shows up at Revolution, he will finish the job.
gee, identical to
The Roman Reigns promo.
Roman Reigns.
Yes,
freaking
sir.
promo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jay White shows up as it looks like he will be outnumbered. Adam Copeland appears. He introduces Spike, and this is enough for the Death Riders to retreat. Cope grabs a mic and sends a warning to every member of Death Riders. After Mercedes Moné has a few words, she is shown in a video for Momo Wannabe calling her shot and challenging her for a TBS championship. That's Watanabe, not Wannabe. I just like to say wannabe. Watanabe. Then we saw Chris Statlander versus Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne picked up the win with an assist from Penelope Ford. Ricochet made his way to the ring to say something after insulting Phoenix. The city of Phoenix. He gloats about beating Swerve Strickland and other other wrestlers. He talks about being a winner and coming to AEW to win gold. And eventually, Prince Nana shows up, and he wants to talk to Ricochet one-on-one. They have been up and down the road the last couple of months, and he is wearing something that doesn't belong to him. Nana has been in the business for 3 decades. That robe Ricochet is wearing has a lot to do with it. That robe represents pride and integrity. Anyone who is wearing it has honor and has been bestowed the opportunity to be great, and Nana did not give him that. If Ricochet is that winner, he says he is, just do him a favor and give the robe back. Ricochet asks if he's going to cry. Is he going to take the robe back? Then we saw the Revolution International Championship Series. Orange Cassidy beat Roderick Strong to advance in that series. Tony Schiavone looks to get a word in with Orange Cassidy ahead of his title match, but is interrupted by Don Callis family. Callis insults Cassidy before calling on Takeshita and Davis to attack him. Kenny Omega is here. He tries to save Cassidy, and they succeed in seeing off the Don Callis family. Other than the beginning, the MJM Adam Page face-to-face, and that very provocative and risque Tony Storm promo, talking about big packages and small packages and, going tit for tit or lip to lip. AEW is like a C- for me. Sticks, are you having a hand spasm there?
No, it's cooling down.
Oh.
What? Cool down. I just saw you like
Fanning him off.
And then you're getting tits and lips and lips. So.
Sticks, what did you think of AEW?
I agree. Those 2 spots were really the only bright spot. Everything else was kind of flat and didn't really hit me too well. So I'm going to actually give this. I don't know. I guess I'll give it a C+. It's not quite a B.
What about you, Dom?
Yeah, C+. That's what I'm going for. The Tony Storm and the MJF Adam Page stuff. That basically AEW is boring, man. It really doesn't really. Even when I get bored of SmackDown and Raw, there's still more excitement in that to a point where when you're watching it, this I don't know. It just goes like it's like the certain segments that they have that make it a little bit more entertaining. Yeah, so C+. Just
Sticks froze.
He did. He froze.
It looks like he's got a pocket pussy in his hand.
Hey, we lost him.
Aw.
Hey, I know we're at 2.5 hours. I don't know if you want to still go through the rest of it. Maybe we'll leave it for next week.
Nah, we can finish up. We only got 2 segments left.
Okay, if you want.
All right. Next up, we're gonna roll into Dom, bringing us our off the mat spotlight of the week.
Step into the ring. The crowd is low. Spotlight on the hero, standing fierce and proud.
And that spotlight this week is on the one and only Mercedes Mone,
AKA the boss, AKA Sasha Banks. Yeah, so I wanted to get a woman this time in the spotlight. Even though I could have did Thomas Tony Storm, which eventually I'll get to that, but I wanted to get her into the spotlight first before I actually go with Tony Storm and somebody else. But let's do it. Welcome back, Six. All right.
I'm glad you put your extracurricular activity toy away, Sticks.
I heard that. I did not. have
Yeah, the way you had your hand, it looked like you had a fleshlight in your hand. I was like, oh, what's that, Sticks?
So we all know Mercedes Justine Kaiser. I'm thinking Bernardo. It's kind of a. I'll take figuring Mercedes Monet saying the words, but we all know that she's the cousin of Snoop Dogg. So that's the other big thing with her, which is pretty cool.
And Ray J.
Exactly. Ray J, which is it's kind of crazy how they're cousins. So that's nuts. But so she had her ring names: Mercedes KV, Mercedes Monet, Miss Monets, and Sasha Banks. And the rest of she debuted in August 8th, 2010 in NXT. So
she's short at 5'5".
Yeah, she's 5'5". She's short. Yeah. So her accomplishments, as of right now, she's the in All Elite Wrestling. She's the AEW TBS champion. She was the CBS Sports Tag Team Champion of the Year with Bayley when she was in the WWE. In Chaotic Wrestling, she was the Chaotic Wrestling Championship. ESPY Awards, Best WWE Moment, Banks and Bianca Belair made history as the first Black women to main event WrestleMania, which that was something, that's kind of cool that they had that. That kind of cool. That was cool because that's a monumental moment in professional wrestling and in entertainment, which is great. Independent Wrestling Entertainment, she was the IWE Women's Championship. She won. When she went to New Japan, she won the IWGP Women's Champion and the Strong Women's Championship. She was also named Pro Wrestling from Illustrated Match of the Year with Bayley at NXT, which she was great in NXT. Go figure. And Bayley, go figure how that women's division NXT was so great.
4 horsewomen, baby.
Yep. She was the Woman of the Year in 2015. She had the Feud of the Year in 2016 with Charlotte Flair, and Feud of the Year 2020 with Bayley. So she had the Feud of the Year twice, which is not many people have that Feud of the Year. Kind of a great storylines. Tag Team of the Year with Bayley. She was ranked number 2 in the top 50 female wrestlers in the PWI Female 50s in 2016. And that's an accomplishment because she's not the best wrestler, but there's a lot more wrestlers that are better than her. She was ranked 3rd in the top 50 tag teams in the PWI Tag Team 15 in 2020 with Bayley.
Ironically, with Bayley.
With Bayley, of course. Ring Wars, Carolina, the RWC No Limit Championship. So she was the Rolling Stones Future Diva of the Year. Ranked number 4 of the 10 best WWE wrestlers in 2016. She had the NXT match of the year with Bayley again in NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. She had the title feud of the year with Bayley in the NXT Championship. Cyrus XM Busted Open Radio Wrestler of the Year 2020.
Series.
I'm sorry. Tag Team Championship of the Year in 2020 with Bayley again. Bayley's in a lot of things with her. Sports Illustrated, she was ranked number 8 in the top 10 female wrestlers in 2019, tied with Bayley. Wrestler of the Year in 2020. Kind of figured 2020 pandemic was going on. There was nobody in the thing, so she was Wrestler of the Year. All kidding aside, I actually think the wrestlers did the best promos and best with nobody, which was, if you think about it, if you could do anything. Wrestling Observer Newsletter, worst feud of the year. Team TCB versus Bad versus Team Bella. Worst feud of the year versus Bayley. Wow, she had all those great feuds of the year, and she had a bad feud of the year. They kind of got played out. So she was the NXT champion one time. She was a WWE champion 5 times. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion 1 time. W Tag Team Championship 3 times, first with Bayley and 1 with Naomi. She won the WWE Women's Triple Crown Champion. She's a WWE Women's Grand Slam Champion. NXT End of the Year Award. The Match of the Year versus Bayley at NXT TakeOver. Slammy Award 2 times. Female Superstar of the Year in 2020. Double Cross of the Year in 2020. Bayley attacks Sasha Banks. The Bumpy Award 2 times. Tag Team of Half of the Year 2020 with Bayley. Best Match of the Year, Bianca Belair, WrestleMania 37.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put in here a couple of figures because she had a plethora of action figures that she has with WWE. Not many with AEW because I couldn't find any. I found a picture, but
This one looks like she's trying to take a dump.
She was doing walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had a couple of WWE figures that came out, and none of them look like her.
No, they don't.
You have so you had a Chase figure with this one. Still doesn't look like actually. You know who that looks like? B-Fab.
It does look like B-Fab, yes.
It does look B-Fab, right?
With the bonus World Heavyweight Championship title that has never been gold.
Exactly. So she had that. That was the Chase figure that came out. So you had the Elite Sasha Banks, includes entrance jacket, sunglasses, and jewelry. Interesting. And then you had this regular Sasha Banks that came out. It looks a little bit like her.
This one just looks like someone whispered, "I'm going in dry" in her ear, and she's like, "Oh."
All right, she's like, yeah.
Nah, she looks like she's scared right there.
So we have this Sasha Banks Ultimate Fan Pack came out. You get a little piece of jewelry, the boss. Actually, this looks a little bit more like her. A little bit. Because
I don't know.
And then we have a
If she's being Barbieized, I thought that was like a Barbie action figure at first.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find this figure right here. This is just a concept. So this is the Mercedes Monet figure.
That looks more like her.
Yeah, a little bit. I think they got the face recognition thing with the figures. Now they do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a zombie. They had like a zombie line of WWE figures that dropped.
So dumb. Okay, we're gonna put like 2 scratches on her and paint her gray and call
exactly.
it zombie.
Yeah. So she has includes women's championship belt, women's division figure as well too.
She's Rob Van Dam.
Exactly. And that's it. Spotlight.
Nice.
Mercedes Monet.
Thank you for
Very good.
that, Dom. Good work as always. Now We're going to take a step into the time tunnel. So open wide as Styx is about to fill your brain.
That didn't sound what? All right, there.
Step into the time tunnel, let's rewind. Everything but honest gets left behind. The lights are flashing, reality's just a blur. Everybody's ready, let's take this on.
And again, Sticks, you talk over the introduction.
And now he's going to be behind. I have to wait because he's going to be behind and muted. There we go. Now he's back.
There you go. There you go.
Sticks, what kind of adventures are you taking us on this week in the time tunnel?
So this week, and for the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking WrestleMania items this week because they've announced some new drops coming out. I thought we'd talk about Funko and their little pop drops that they got coming out, and then see what's been going on for Funkos in the past or recent. So these are some they've shown up on the Funko drops. We've got a new Sting coming out from when he was in WWE. We got Flair. We got an Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant looks like The Rock from when he appeared in that 70s show.
I know he did, right? He got those mutton chops there too.
Yeah.
We got from Total Divas. We got Brie Bella. We got a nice little keychain for. I think there's someone there. I think that's supposed to be John Cena. I can't really see him.
Yeah, the package is empty, but it does say John Cena on it.
I don't know. Weird. And from the Total Divas, we have Nikki Bella. From some of the other pops up here, we got LA Knight coming out. We've got a Gunther.
That gun. Look at the cheekbones on that Gunther.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's got that. Yeah, even the chin. Io Sky. We got a Shawn Michaels giving a super kick.
He's doing a Bret Michaels high kick.
I know how I get.
Hey. X-Pac.
Oh man, I might have to get that X-Pac.
Yeah.
Big X-Pac fan. Big X-Pac fan.
Stacy Keibler. We've got from Fanatics, we've got an Umaga coming out. That's going to be in the Fanatics website.
Did you see there was so Matt Cardona has a wrestling toy podcast, and they were talking about this figure, and their Fanatics was saying that it's a signed exclusive Umaga figure. And they're all like, how could it be signed? Because he passed away years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Authentic Fanatics signed Umaga figure. That's a little sketch.
That is sketch, very sketch.
These ones were some that either came out not too long ago, and some that I think there's a couple in here that are coming out in a little bit.
Why does Randy Orton look like Stone Cold Steve Austin?
He does, but he also looks like somebody else. You know who he looks like? He looks like
he looks like Savio Vega. He looks like Savio Vega.
Yeah.
The Hurricane Target exclusive. We got Lex Luger total package.
He looks like MacGyver.
He looks like Richard Dean
Anderson figured it out for MacGyver.
Yeah. Zelina Vega.
Looks like Mercedes Moné.
Yeah. Sami Zayn, the shop exclusive.
That looks like Triple H.
We got Hulk Hogan with receding hairline.
I want Hulk Hogan taking a dump. That's the pop I want.
Oh god, I saw that video. That was hilarious.
Yo, he's in the toilet. That was funny.
I told Mandy to drop a hot steamer before I left.
Then we got Shotzi, and another Funko Shop exclusive. We have John.
You can't see me.
Do you see that they've taken to not referring to him as Hulk Hogan anymore, and now he's Mega? Hogan.
Mega. Yep. Hogan. Mega. He's just a beer commercial. I'm watching the freaking wrestling. They got the beer commercials going on.
Yeah, the real American beer.
Yeah, beer.
All right. So here's some recent sales. These were all, or most of them, are all WrestleMania exclusives. So if you went to WrestleMania, you did a little pop-up shop, these would have been where you could have bought these. You got your up top there, you got Randy Macho Man Savage with the trunks, sold recently for $310. You got AJ Lee, sold for $399. You got your John Cena with the black hat, sold for $400.
Yeah, there's
And
I'm sorry, there's some definite sleepers with these wrestling pops.
Yeah.
There's some expensive ones, really good.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan up there, $474. And although this wasn't a WrestleMania pop, this Rey Mysterio from 7-Eleven with the light blue mask sold for $495.
That's crazy that they still sell it for that much money.
Yeah. Well, you know, some areas don't have 7-Eleven, so.
Yeah.
And you also have an empty case sold down there.
Yeah. People buy anything, Matt. People will buy anything.
For $400 for an empty case? I don't know about that.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Up next, let's see here. We got the other another Rey Mysterio. This was a 2014 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Sold for $879.
Damn, really?
Yep. You're out there getting all these Boba Fett pops. You gotta get these wrestling pops when they come to.
I know, but the fact that I didn't think that the Rey Mysterio was that much, and it's the freaking Zack Snyder. That's right.
Zack Snyder. I was like, wait, what? What's director Zack Snyder doing in a wrestling pop?
I know, right? Nah, I didn't think that Zack Ryder was that much.
So this is the 2017 New York Comic Con shared exclusive, $935.41.
And free delivery, which is good.
Free delivery, yeah, it can't be free delivery.
What's the over under that Matt Cardona bought that pop? So he bought his own pop and paid $935 for it.
Exactly.
Sure. Sure, why not?
With free shipping, it's a steal of a deal.
You know, this one kind of made me laugh. Not too much, but I'll tell you why when I go through. WWE WrestleMania 40 limited edition modern era replica title belt with Rock Funko. All right, this combination sold for $1,249. Do you see the little arrows there where he points out? Oh, it's the 168th pop, and this is the 168 out of 200 belts that was made. That's great.
So it's 168. It matched with the belt.
So it would match. It has all the Rock pops were 168. It didn't matter. The Rock pop sells for about $35 to $40 by itself, and there was only one sale of recent of the belt that sold for $900.
Yeah. So I know the belt was probably limited of 200. The number of the belt. That's why they're pointing at the pop. That's 168 as well too.
Yeah, that's all. That's the only catch on this listing is because that belt was 168 out of 200, and he's 168. That's the only catch on this.
Yeah,
it's a good strategy to go with because obviously they got it to sell. So I can't hate on them too bad.
Remember that old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right. That is right. 100% then and today. Well, thank you for watching, and until next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Off the Mat. What a show it was. Thank you, Dom and Sticks, for always bringing the heat on this show. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell so you know whenever you get notifications, whenever we go live and drop new content for Off the Mat or all of the content on this channel. Man, make sure to join us next week as we welcome back Pete and Double O as we prepare and give our predictions for WWE Elimination Chamber on Saturday, March 1st. So we'll have a good show for you guys next week. And if you want more wrestling content from us, make sure to check out one of the videos that are going to appear here at the end of tonight's episode. And we hope you all have kick out at that 3 count, and we'll see you next week right back here.
Or 4
same
count.
off the mat time, same off the mat place, same off the mat channel, where we bring back our defending, or as Paul Heyman says, reigning, defending, undisputed champion of off the mat, Double O, where we see, can he defend his title from Royal Rumble and perfectly call the Elimination Chamber? You have to come in back next week to find out. Dom, Sticks, got any parting words tonight?
No parting words. Looking forward to having them on next week. Actually, in 2 weeks, I won't be here. Got Toy Fair. I got Toy Fair the following week, which is coming the first. I have to work on that Thursday because I'm going to be off like the next 4 days. So I want to give you a heads up on that. Sorry about that, but that's happening. But you can always have me there saying you can't see me. So that's and I'm there. I'm there in spirit. Man in person, but.
Let us know in the comment section below what you thought of this week's plethora of pro wrestling and what your favorite moment from all the wrestling this week was. On that note, remember to check out SmackDown tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on USA. As we announced earlier tonight, The Rock, the final boss, makes an unannounced or a last-minute announced appearance. What's he going to do? Is he just going to promote WrestleMania next year? Is he going to try to push Jey Uso out? Is he going to try and promote his match for WrestleMania? Tune in tomorrow night to find out. And for us, we'll catch you guys next week. So
in the ring, the lights go down. Roaring crowd, they scream and shout. Chants echo, shaking the ground. Warriors clash, the game is found. Welcome to